Chapter 281, 18th Cycle's First Day. Russell. I open my eyes and gather my thoughts. Seo Eun-yun. Did I die again this time? Seo Eun-yun. It was a good life. Seo Eun-yun. Although it was painful. Hey, Seo Eun-yun. And then, I feel something strange. Quote. Jaeon Myung-hoon. I look at Jaeon Myung-hoon who is beside me. Hong Fan. Yi and Jin. Quote. Where is this? My eyes waver. The place is under a strange night sky filled with constellations I had never seen before. At the center of that night sea, there is a small island floating, and the sky is gradually filling with heavenly tribulation and starting to collapse. My eyes widen in panic. What? What are you saying, Seo Eun-yun? Master, are you feeling unwell? Please, tell us. Jaeon Myung-hoon and Hong Fan look at me with worried eyes. In my confusion, I clutch my head. Has the regression point been fixed again? It's an utterly baffling situation. Traveling between dimensions, ascending from a lower realm to the upper realm had all been done before. But even then, there had never been an instance of regression fixing itself. But this time, it was fixed. Why, my head feels like it is going to burst from confusion. And this place is the stomach of that bizarre life form. Why on earth had it fixed here of all places? No, maybe that's actually better. I quickly cool my head. Everything is too confusing, and I want to contemplate my feelings. However, there is the imminent danger of Hun-won right before us. Kugugugu. The world is collapsing rapidly. And we are about to enter the bright cold realm, riding the flow of attraction. This path will lead us to confront Hun-won once again. It isn't bad that the regression had been fixed right before Hun-won. I ponder as we are about to enter the bright cold realm. There are 3 attractions pulling me. The attraction of the flying immortal platform. The attraction of the nether crossing ship. The attraction of the immortal beast blood. At the flying immortal platform, Hun-won resides. However, I know nothing about the nether crossing ship and the immortal beast blood. First, I won't follow the immortal beast blood. Since it involves immortal beasts, I decide to be cautious because I don't know what could happen. The memory of being overwhelmed by the lustrous glazed peacock's light belonging to Ohai Seo makes me extra wary. I look towards the pull led by the nether crossing ship. Is this related to the nether ghost realm or Black Ghost Valley? Either way, I'm wary. After a moment of contemplation, I decide to follow the attraction of the flying immortal platform. It's fine, I know too little about the other 2 places. According to Jin Wei's words, if we can just escape the Heaven-Earth Central Territory, Hun-won won't follow. So, let's try the flying immortal platform with a high chance of escaping first. I take a piece of flesh from my pocket and throw it towards the place led by the attraction of the nether crossing ship. Wo Wang, it's Yuan Yu. I insert a mysterious bizarre GU into Yuan Yu's flesh, and later, when it enters another place through that attraction, I plan to find out its location. Well, that's all the preparation I can do for now. I look at Jaeon Myung-hoon, Hong Fan, and Yi and Jin and say. When we enter the bright cold realm, we'll escape the Heaven-Earth Central Territory with all our might. Got it. Why, just do as I say. There's a high chance that Hun-won will flip out and chase after us. Is it because of your bounty? It's not about my bounty, it's because of his mental illness. Anyway, if Jin Wei's words are true, he won't follow beyond the Heaven-Earth Central Territory, so we must escape quickly. Maybe it would be better if we enter your peach garden painting and you escape alone. I had already unfolded the peach garden painting, capable of containing spiritual beings and people, and prepared for the impact of the dimensional barrier. Kwang. We leap through the dimensional barrier, and as soon as Jaeon Myung-hoon lands on the flying immortal platform, he grabs Hong Fan and Yi and Jin and plunges into the peach garden painting I had spread out. After folding the peach garden painting, before the 4-axis stage inspectors can even spot us, I quickly activate the 3 great ultimates and entered a paused world. In that very state, I roll my foot. Pong. Frantically, I break away from the Heaven-Earth Palace like mad. Yu Beck had once shown me a sky route that allows me to successfully escape the boundary of the Heaven-Earth Palace. Just 50,000 more li and I'll be out of the Heaven-Earth Central Territory. I quickly pass the 10,000 li mark, then the 20,000 li, and the 30,000 li mark. And finally, when I am just 10,000 li away from surpassing 40,000 li. Kugugugu. No, Hun-won is coming. I feel a chilling killing intent from behind and speed up even more. That's when it happens. Wo Wang. Exclamation mark question mark quote. Suddenly, the distance in front of me, that is, the distance between the end of the heaven-earth territory and me begins, stretching. At the same time, I see Hun-Won chasing after me from behind. Step, step, step. Hun-Won is not using the flying escape technique. With every step he takes, space itself is folding. He is using the shrinking earth technique to chase after me. That's integration stage. I only possess the combat power of the integration stage. But I don't possess the abilities of an integration stage cultivator. It's said that one can freely twist space starting from the integration stage, and it seems he is trying to bind me in this way. Bo Wang. I raise the colorless glass sword towards the twisting space in front of me. And with that stance, I slash down. Bo Wang, Kwang. The distorted space tears open entirely, revealing the void. I enter the void and madly dash towards the end of the heaven-earth territory. Kugugugu. From behind, a giant palm-shaped energy wave bearing the form of yin and yang is flying towards me. I don't confront it head-on but use all my strength to dodge his strike and almost reach the very end of the heaven-earth territory. Now, that's when it happens. Bo Wang. An ominous sensation licks my back. I can't ignore that sinister aura and turn back. And I'm startled. Wu Wang. Centered on Hun-Won, a spherical dimensional barrier formed and is engulfing the area, chasing after me. Damn it. Hun-Won is deploying his domain. I intuitively realize that if I am caught in that domain, escaping the heaven-earth territory will be meaningless, further intensifying my consciousness acceleration. My head feels like it's about to burst. My overheated upper dantian might explode at any moment. But I don't stop. Instead, I ignite all the energy in my body and increase my speed even further. Kugugugu. But his domain, eerily similar to the dimensional barrier, almost reaches my toes. Faster. And at that moment, I finally feel that I have escaped the heaven-earth territory. The nature of the dragon vein has changed. Mortals divide their territories by land. However, cultivators divide their territories based on the qualities of the dragon veins and separate the areas accordingly. And finally, I have left the dragon vein zone, flowing with the unique energy of the heaven-earth central territory. Now, I've escaped Hun-Won's grasp. I turn around with a victorious smile. As expected, according to the Golden Guard, Hun-Won's territory did not extend beyond the heaven-earth boundary but was trembling within it. Just as Jin Wei had said, Hun-Won's domain does not cross over the heaven-earth territory and is wavering inside. Now that I have escaped from Hun-Won, that's when I feel it. Wo Wang. I see Hun-Won's domain shrinking. Exclamation mark quote. His domain shrinks smaller and smaller, reducing to the size of Hun-Won's body. And the shrunken domain of Hun-Won perfectly fits his body shape, as if clothed upon him. Feeling an ominous dread, I don't stop but maintain my speed. And, Hun-Won, wearing his domain on his body, steps out of the heaven-earth territory with a stern expression. Jin Wei, that useless human. Not coming out. What do you mean not coming out? He's perfectly coming out. Hun-Won begins chasing me using the flying escape technique. Being the flying escape technique of an integration stage grand cultivator, his speed is rapidly catching up to me, who activated the three great ultimates. Moreover, the flying escape technique is inherently meant for long-distance travel, so the gap between us as I flee in a straight line is closing fast. Just a bit more, hold on just a bit. I squeeze out every bit of energy from my body to escape from him. I cross countless mountains and rivers, pass through bizarre swamps, and overcome snowy mountains and lava regions. Hun-Won relentlessly chases me like a madman for about half a day, and soon, the distance between him and me had shrunk to within 10 li. Damn. And at that moment, when I feel threatened for my life. Suddenly, Hun-Won stops right there. Is he not chasing anymore? However, I clench my teeth when I see the black and white demon immortal energy swirling in his hands. He's going to attack. Kugugugu. The yin and yang energy of heaven and earth swirl all around. And the energy of the five elements block the five directions. Mount Tai, Hua. With all my might, I swing the colorless glass sword towards the yin-yang five elements binding. Splitting Emperor, Kwang, heaven and earth brightly light up. And just by a hair's breadth, I manage to puncture a hole through the yin-yang five elements prison and narrowly escape the attack range of the Mount Tai splitting Emperor technique. The attack range was significantly reduced due to being outside the heaven-earth territory, and the durability of the yin-yang five elements barrier considerably weakened, making it possible. I continue to flee madly, and I notice that Hun 1 no longer pursues me after launching that attack. Thank goodness. It seems the attack he had launched was one out of desperation, thinking he could no longer catch me. Cough, cough, cough. Drip, drip, drip. Integration stage Grand Cultivator Hun 1 frowns as he sees the blood flowing from his mouth. Jin Wei, if it weren't for that monster. Qi, the yin and yang energies within the blood he spilled are widely entangled and twisting. It seems I need to return to the heaven-earth territory. My energies are starting to tangle again. And, Hun 1's eyes follow the direction Xiao Unyun had escaped to. I need to issue the bounty again. Crunch, Hun 1 grasps the void, pulling it towards him. At the same time, the coordinates he had planted in the Heaven-Earth Palace resonate with him, beginning to warp space. Kugugugek, boom, space crumples, creating a spatial gate between where Hun 1 stands and the Heaven-Earth Palace. Hun 1 returns to the Heaven-Earth Palace and absorbs the energies of the Central Territory, shouting out loud. His voice vibrates the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, echoing throughout the Heaven-Earth Palace. Inspectors of the 4-axis stage in the Heaven-Earth Palace, hear me. Cease all your current tasks, enter the spatial gate I created, and capture the fugitive who refused to register their identity and fled from the Heaven-Earth Palace. He is extremely dangerous. If he resists, it's permissible to take his life. Upon his command, 15 of the 36 4-axis stage inspectors at the Heaven-Earth Palace begin to move to capture Xiao Unyun. Hun 1 ponders to himself. Even if he escaped from me, an integration stage Grand Cultivator, the cultivation I felt from him was that of the heavenly being stage. Having drained so much energy, surely he won't be able to defeat this many 4-axis stage cultivators. He might have been able to escape from me who has limited mobility by risking his life, but unless a cultivator of the same caliber appears, he won't be able to block a force of this level. Even fleeing will not be easy, since fleeing from him would have already drained a lot of his energy. Hun 1 settles into a meditative pose and begins circulating his energy, expecting Xiao Unyun to be dragged before him soon. Pot, how long have I been fleeing? By now, I have gotten so far that not even a trace of Hun 1, let alone Hun 1 himself, can be seen. Only now can I finally breathe a sigh of relief. Finally, I stop and take a deep breath. I've successfully escaped, but now that I escaped the crisis, the confusion I have been suppressing spreads like wildfire in my chest. Why did the regression point fix itself? I ponder, recalling the commonalities between the previous and current fixed points of regression. Head realm, that is it. The fixation of the regression point occurred right after ascending from the head realm both times. If such events had occurred twice, I can't help but think there must be some connection between the fixation of the regression point and the head realm. Thinking about the fixed regression point brings all sorts of emotions boiling up in my chest again. Single quote. Ah, I see. Trickle, Jin He, Hong Su Ryong, and other precious ones. Jin Baek Ho, Jin Chan, Jin So Hei, and others who could have been saved. Now, I can never meet them again. No matter if they are different from those in my past lives. No matter if I perceive them as different people. Perhaps I unconsciously identified them as the same. I shed tears over the fact that I can never see them again. Thank you. Still, I have no regrets. I have indeed done everything I could. And the fact that time has been fixed means that all my actions so far aren't just passing into the void of time. Deep in my heart, I convey my mourning, sorrow, and apologies to those who had already died, and at the same time, I express deep gratitude to those I had saved. As I contemplate with my eyes closed, it happens. Kugugugu. With the sound of air tearing apart, about a dozen cultivators fly to my surroundings and encircle me. You, scoundrel, in the world you lived in, you might have strutted around as a heavenly being stage cultivator and everyone stepped back, but how dare you create such chaos in the bright cold realm? Come along quietly tied up. If you resist, we will subdue you by force. It seems you somehow wriggled forth everything and fled from Lord Grand Cultivator, but the Heaven-Earth Palace Lord deliberately didn't chase after you because leaving the Heaven-Earth territory would severely worsen his condition. I chuckle at their noisy ranting. I've set my goal. What did he say? I cross my arms thoughtfully, sort out my emotions, and clarify my goals. My goal in this life is to obtain the Mount Tai Splitting Emperor technique. And, now that I have stabilized Jaeon Myung-hoon, it's time to save Yun Sok Hung Nim by protecting Azure Tiger Saint. Azure Tiger Saint will ultimately die at the hands of the Blood Yin Realm's esteemed one. So, what should I do to prevent Azure Tiger Saint from dying? Just ensure Azure Tiger Saint does not encounter the Blood Yin Esteemed One. The war between the True Devil Realm and the human race will soon end. The grand cultivators of the True Devil Realm will start counterattacking, and the human race will be disastrously defeated. Yun Sok is currently in the True Devil Realm, so it should be feasible to call him back to the Bright Cold Realm. Moreover, in this life, let's try to survive for a long time and watch over Kong Minhee's condition, Kim Yeon's mental health, and Co Weol's schemes as much as possible. Mount Tai Splitting Emperor Technique. Preventing the mental collapse of Yun Sok through the survival of Azure Tiger Saint. And long-term survival are the goals of this life. I look up at the 15 4-axis stage inspectors pressing around me and smirk. And, to summon Yun Sok, I'll need the power of the Human Race Grand Alliance. To exercise power within the Human Race Grand Alliance, first, I pull out the colorless glass sword from my mouth while grinning. I'll need some fame, right? Currently, with the Grand Cultivators of the Heaven Tribe laying low due to the aftermath of the owner of Heavenly Punishment. Showing Grand Cultivator level power now, the Grand Alliance will surely want to enlist me, regardless of my past enmities with Hun Won. This arrogant fool, Lord Grand Cultivator said it's okay to kill if he resists. Kwang, a 4-axis stage cultivator fires a light bullet from his fingertip towards me. Though it appears weak, it's a forceful blow that would fatally tire and kill a typical heavenly being stage cultivator. And towards him, I swing the colorless glass sword. Kwang, space splits, and along with the light bullet, the 4-axis stage cultivator who fired it is cleaved in half without even a chance to react. Chapter 282, Sword Ghost. The bisected 4-axis cultivator is utterly bewildered, not comprehending what had just befallen him. However, a second later, he screams as he claws at his bisected torso. Kududugak. At the 4-axis stage, one's vitality is so tremendous that even if they are split in half, they will fuse back together. There is only one way to fatally wound a 4-axis stage cultivator. Within the golden core sleeps a nascent soul. And inside that nascent soul is either the heavenly circle Tian Yuan or earthly bearings Defang that one has to tamper with. This bastard, feeling that my abilities are not ordinary, 7 4-axis stage cultivators form seals and press towards me. Yet, I grin coldly and raise the colorless glass sword once again. Until now, I always had to hide that I am of the Heart Tribe. In the Bright Cold Realm, the Heart Tribe is persecuted. But now that I think about it, is there any need to hide that I am from the Heart Tribe from the likes of you? Quagwagwagwagwang, I swing my sword down. A colorless heavenly tribulation spreads in all directions. The ground itself splits in half. A canyon stretching 5,000 li forms, and red-hot lava flows down the walls. The 4-axis stage cultivators struck by this attack are sliced apart. This is crazy. He's from the Heart Tribe. He's a 4th stage Heart Tribe member. Everyone, attack together. However, I SMRIK at them as they rush towards me in horror. You're mistaken. Kugugugugugu. Pure spiritual force surges tumultuously throughout my body. Demonic power flutters wildly, empowering me. I begin to dance. You should have attacked together from the start. Not now, when some of you have already been decisively defeated. Quagwang, quagwagwagwang. The 1st through 12th moves of Severing Mountain swordsmanship unfold wildly. The first 12 moves are the basics of swordsmanship. The 13th to 24th moves concern sword energy, intent, and control of power. And the moves I started creating from the 25th to the 36th forms. I hadn't yet set a standard for those techniques. But today, facing the 4-axis stage cultivators at full strength, I am finally able to grasp a feel for the latter half of the Severing Mountain swordsmanship. Moves integrating heaven, earth, and heart, the 3 powers. That will be the essence for the latter part of Severing Mountain swordsmanship. 13 4-axis stage cultivators each use their flying escape technique to charge at me. But they are slow. Boong, 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 boong. I dance bearing the 3 great ultimates, facing them head-on. A pagoda Dharma treasure strikes down at me from the sky. A stamped Dharma treasure assaults me from both sides. A ring Dharma treasure expands enormously and constricts around me. One cultivator, holding a mirror Dharma treasure, reflects himself upon it. Instantly, a clone looking exactly like him emerges from the mirror and attacks me in a formation. When another cultivator shakes a bell Dharma treasure, immense heat bursts forth, engulfing the surroundings. Next to him, a cultivator fans a fan, creating whirlwinds that mingle with the flames, engulfing me in a vortex of fire. Quagwagwagwang. Centered around Xiao Unyun and the 4-axis stage cultivators, a radius of 3,000 li is swept by a shockwave that triggers earthquakes and tsunamis. Those who came to capture Xiao Unyun are inspector cultivators from the Heaven-Earth Palace, tasked with apprehending those who cause disturbances within Heaven-Earth Palace. Sometimes, when exceptionally skilled individuals from the lower realms ascend, or monsters from the interdimensional void invade the bright cold realm and escape from Heaven-Earth Palace, these cultivators are tasked with chasing and capturing them. However, for the first time in their lives, they face a monster that even 15 inspectors combined cannot capture. Kwang, Kwang, their spell techniques are shattered. Their Dharma treasures, made from precious materials, are torn apart like paper. Arg, one by one, 4-axis stage cultivators who have lived for thousands of years are split in half by a single sword strike. Block him, block that monster, even for a moment. But they can't stop him. No defensive spell or Dharma treasure. All their attempts to block are passed through like a ghost, sliced apart. Escape is also impossible. When they think they dodge the sword, something colorless, traceless, and formless would unpredictably change shape and chase them down, splitting them apart. We can't stop him. Ah! Before long, the 15 inspectors who had come are reduced to 9. Form the third formation. Regroup. Quayduk, Quayduk, Quayduk. The 9 remaining inspectors simultaneously cut their fingers. From their severed fingers, their essence blood spurts forth and gathers in the air. Bind. Hanzhou, the leader of the inspectors in a grand perfection. 4-axis stage cultivator, commands the remaining 8 cultivators. Deploy the soul binding seal formation. Kirk, the essence blood connects to the life force of the 4-axis stage cultivators, forming chains in the air. Cling, cling, cling. Simultaneously, 9 chains pierce through space and embed themselves into Xiao Unyun's body. Quadududuk. Hanzhou, sweating profusely, shouts. We've caught him for a moment. Unleash all attacks now. At the same time, all the inspector reform their hand seals, and each of their natal innate techniques pour down on Xiao Unyun simultaneously. A loud roar erupts as light scatters in all directions. Where they attacked, a massive spatial rift has formed. Kugugugugu. How intensely had they bombarded Xiao Unyun? A moment of lull follows. Hanzhou swallows his saliva. Everyone has reached their limit on how many spells they can continuously deploy. Even a typical 4-axis stage cultivator would hardly leave any remnants in this situation. He looks hopefully into the dark smoke billowing from within. Did we get him? Then, from within the smoke, a pale arm suddenly bursts forth. You're mistaken. Wo Wang. This is madness. Everyone, attack again. And then, a fleeting sense of foreboding passes through Hanzhou's mind as he gives the order. He survived that. Even a fellow 4-axis stage cultivator would struggle. Unless it's someone extraordinary among the grand perfection ranks of 4-axis cultivators, it's tough. And what was that? That clear voice just now? Surviving a bombardment that even a grand perfection 4-axis cultivator would find hard to withstand. What does this imply? It's quite simple. That monster out there might be at the level of an integration stage grand cultivator. It's not me who got caught. Cling, cling, clang. Bound by the soul-binding seal formation, Xiao Unyun speaks from within the smoke, revealing his teeth. It's you who are caught. Then, his arm cuts through the smoke as he swings his sword. Evade. Hanzhou's urgent voice spreads in all directions. Kwang. The bodies of the 4-axis cultivators are cleaved apart. Ah! Around Hanzhou, 4 axes emerge, and a 4-axis canopy unfolds. However, his barrier is easily shattered. From within the dark smoke, Hanzhou catches sight of Xiao Unyun wielding a colorless sword and utters one name. Sword. Ghost. And that name quickly spreads from mouth to mouth among the inspector cultivators. Sword. Sword Ghost. It's the Sword Ghost. The Sword Ghost. Kwang. Finally, Hanzhou, who is essentially the leader of the inspectors, is severed in half by the merciless sword of Xiao Unyun, now known as the Sword Ghost. The remaining cultivators completely lose their will to fight. Run away. It's a monster. Hua, Senior, spare me, please spare me. The 4 surviving cultivators run in different directions, and only then does Xiao Unyun's ruthless sword dance stop. Chi, I extinguish the smoke flowing from my body with a smile. It had been a confrontation initiated while being exhausted from being pursued by Hunwan. Because of that, I had inevitably needed to use foolish old man moves mountains to deal with them. Good. Now, the fatality of the self-destructive techniques used through foolish old man moves mountains is outweighed by the undying aspect of my physical body, meaning a brief use of foolish old man moves mountains doesn't kill me anymore. Of course, since foolish old man moves mountains can theoretically become infinitely stronger with continuous use, long-term use will still indeed result in inevitable destruction. However, unlike before when it was a certain death technique, now it can be used for short-term battles. It was a bit risky though. Even though they could revive after dying, they still hesitated to risk their lives. Or perhaps, it was precisely because the 4-axis stage investigators valued their lives so much that they dared to fight to the death. Having expended much energy while fleeing from Hun Wan, it might have been slightly risky had it been a prolonged battle. If everyone had collaborated with the intent to risk their lives from the beginning, I would have certainly been defeated and forced to start the 19th cycle. But they all value their lives a lot. They value their lives despite being able to resurrect after dying. No, perhaps it's precisely because they cherish their lives so much that they struggled desperately to reach the 4-axis stage. By the time one reaches the 4-axis stage, the obsession with one's own life seems to surpass imagination, and because of that, everyone crucially backs off, allowing for one-on-one battles. They thought they were attacking me together, but in fact, apart from one or two, hardly anyone was properly coordinating their attacks, resulting in my victory. However, despite that, 15 4-axis cultivators. I grin. I won. They were individuals who hesitated at critical moments due to an unimaginable fixation on life, but they were still 15 4-axis cultivators. Among them, there was even a grand perfection 4-axis cultivator. And it was after being drained while escaping from Hun Wan that I managed to defeat them. That is, if I hadn't been drained and had fought with full power from the beginning, they wouldn't have stood a chance against me, even if they risked their lives. Considering Hun Wan practiced heaven and earth dual cultivation and is a monster of late integration stage strength despite being in the early stage. Kududuk. I finally grasp the extent of the realm I have reached as I gather the power of the 3 great ultimates in my fist. Grand Cultivator. I have reached a stage where I can challenge the domain of an actual integration cultivator. Now, not only the 4-axis stages who fled, but also the remaining 4-axis cultivators who will revive will surely inform the Heaven tribe about me. Based on my predictions, even if they are grand cultivators at the integration stage, the damage they sustained from witnessing the owner of heavenly punishment wouldn't have been much different. They too must have suffered immense damage, and probably they had been nearly wiped out and hidden up till now to heal those injuries. If news reaches them that a new integration stage human has emerged, regardless of what Hun Wan thinks of me, it wouldn't matter anymore. I will be seen as a precious force to be protected by the Heaven tribe. Alright then. Now, come out. I dust off my hands and unfold the peach garden painting. From within, Jaeon Myung-hoon and Hong Fan emerge. Jaeon Myung-hoon whistles and laughs. I saw a bit from inside the peach garden painting. It was brutally spectacular. Now then, I said come out. At my words, Jaeon Myung-hoon furrows his brow. We all came out already. Ignoring Jaeon Myung-hoon, I speak with a fierce glare to the owner of the sticky and unpleasant intent that has been spying on us. This is your last warning. Come out, or I will kill you. Then, as if the space itself is warping, a small domain created by the 4-axis canopy reveals itself. Rather than a domain, it should be called a subspace, floating like a droplet above space. As the droplet-shaped 4-axis canopy recedes, a rather unpleasant face appears. Haha, long time no see, Taoist Co. It's Co Whale. Chapter 283, Hermit. I give Hong Fan and Jaeon Myung-hoon a cold look and signal them with my eyes. Recognizing my gesture, the two nod and quickly move to block Co Whale's retreat. Seeing us surrounding him from 3 directions, Co Whale laughs. Relax, fellow Taoists. In fact, I've come after investigating everything about you all. Co Whale's gaze then shifts to Jaeon Myung-hoon. The Taoist who, having inherited the true inheritance method of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, reached the heavenly being stage after just about 70 years. He then turns his gaze from Jaeon Myung-hoon to Hong Fan. And Taoist Hong, who reached the nascent soul stage even quicker. Though not yet at the heavenly being stage, rumors of his genius are widespread. His gaze shifts to me. And finally, Taoist Co, who reached Qi refining 6th star within a day of learning cultivation methods, rose to the nascent soul stage at an unbelievable speed, and then took the remnants of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect down to the head realm. He smiles faintly and continues. All 3 of you are certainly not ordinary, it seems. Am I right? I keep my lips tightly sealed with a frosty expression. I can't read it. It seems that by this point, he has already developed a magic artifact that could counteract the Heart Tribe's vision. Though it appears blurry, but beyond that, it's hard to see clearly. As it at least appears blurry after reaching tribulating heavens, I think perhaps Kim Young-hoon can see through Seo Wei-ol's magic artifact. Quote. So, what do you want to say? Seo Wei-ol spreads his arms with a welcoming smile at my question. You might find it insignificant, but I would like to inquire if I could join your plans. The true forms Gen-T of Taoist Hong and Taoist Jaeon. I can roughly guess. Haha, they must be those individuals. Of course, there's none like Taoist Seo that I know of. He amusingly notes, if you're not among those I know, then you must belong to one of two places. Either affiliated with the Netherworld or, from that side. Given the reaction of White Bone Ghost Devil of Black Ghost Valley last time, you are likely a distinguished person from the Netherworld, I presume. Seo Wei-ol continues with a warm smile. A person of the Netherworld, and the true forms of Taoist Jaeon and Taoist Hong. I can guess your goal. There's only one singular purpose you all would come to this heavenly domain. What is this guy rambling about? I decide to just listen since there's no harm in hearing him out. You're probably here to head to the Lightning Sacred Sea to retrieve the relic of the Golden Deity. Isn't that right? He looks around at us with a gentle yet confident expression, seeming certain of his guess. Realizing that Jaeon Myung-hoon and Hong Fan's expressions are giving us away, I quickly divert Seo Wei-ol's attention to myself. Quote. You're not wrong, but I see no need to explain myself to you. As I speak, I also send a heart message to Hong Fan and Jaeon Myung-hoon. Since heart language leaves no traces, Seo Wei-ol doesn't notice it. Upon receiving my will, the two quickly seal their senses. I then kick Yi and Jin, whose mouth is opening and closing besides me, back into the depths of the peach garden painting before turning to Seo Wei-ol. You want to cooperate with us? Then tell me, who are you exactly, and what are you doing here? Recite your purpose. Might as well let him continue with his misunderstanding. I throw the question with the intention of completely exposing him. However, Seo Wei-ol's answer is succinct. I am Blood Yin, Shui Yin. Does that answer your question? Quote. What in the world does that mean? Furthermore, I sense impurity in Seo Wei-ol's intention. Although it's hard to know his inner thoughts and intent through the Heart Tribe's vision, it's clear to me that he harbors impure intention towards me. He's lying. I don't even know what Blood Yin is, but clearly, he isn't Blood Yin. Blood Yin, huh? Remembering what Yang Soo-jin had said, I decide to test whether he really is this, Blood Yin. If you are Blood Yin, then you must have already found and cause and Yi and connection correct. Quote. For the first time, Seo Wei-ol's usually composed mouth shuts tight at my question. Although his expression does not change, I manage to discern that his intent and heart essence are unusually trembling. Though I can only read them in a blurry manner, it's enough to tell that his heart essence is significantly disturbed. Vast cold is indeed vast, how could they be so easily found? He neither ignores nor denies my words, simply passing them off as if he hasn't found them yet. I smirk. I've got the upper hand. For the first time in our verbal exchanges, I have gained the upper hand due to the disparity in information. He definitely isn't Blood Yin. He's just impersonating as such. Honestly, I can't believe you. You don't even know the whereabouts of Yin and Yin, and you claim to be Blood Yin. Haha, well, it doesn't matter what you think. What's clear is that I am deeply related to Blood Yin. Regardless, I can provide what the three of you are looking for. And you know what we want. I can provide whatever it is. At that, I pause for a moment then smirk again. I am, indeed interested in Yang Soo-jin's immortal treasure you've spoken of. But apart from that, I am also searching for traces left by the owner of Salt Mountain. The owner of Salt Mountain? Seo Wei-ol seems momentarily flustered by my words, then laughs as if he finally understands. Ah, I see. That's why Hun Won has been chasing you like a madman. Are you perhaps aiming for the Mount Tai Splitting Emperor technique? Well, something like that. He knows about the Mount Tai Splitting Emperor technique and the owner of Salt Mountain. He really doesn't seem like an ordinary guy. What will you do by finding the traces of the governing immortal? Is searching for that ancient deity a command from a heavenly venerable? Quote. I'm shocked by Seo Wei-ol suddenly mentioning, governing immortal. However, strangely enough, it isn't as painful as the time my body had melted away instantaneously. It feels as though I developed a resistance. I managed to endure the shock contained in the word, governing immortal, without showing it and smile back. This bastard is trying to test me. It must have been the same for Jeon Myung-hoon and Hong Fan. Fortunately, they seem unaffected, probably because they had blocked their senses as I had asked. Although Jeon Myung-hoon might have developed a resistance by directly facing a governing immortal, it was better to be cautious with Hong Fan. The oldest one desires the traces of the mountain deity. I casually mention the master of the netherworld metaphorically to Seo Weol. Then, Seo Weol nods. I see. I understand the situation. It seems he recognizes my ability to endure the shock of the word, governing immortal, and my capability to bring up other knowledge. If you aim for the Mount Tai splitting emperor technique, I will assist you with that as well. How can you? Hun Won has many children, after all. He grins nonchalantly, bringing up the topic as if it's nothing out of the ordinary. Just kidnap one or two and brainwash them. Quote. His tone, as if he's talking about going on a picnic, leaves me somewhat dumbfounded. But anyway, I frown as I notice Seo Weol slowly approaching me with a sly look. He closes in quite familiarly and seems about to say something. With this level of sincerity, perhaps I could join fellow Taoists for a bit. I haven't said anything about kidnapping yet. Oh, if you dislike kidnapping and brainwashing, then I'll just become friends with Hun Won's children and find out that way. His response clearly means he intends to manipulate people's hearts and spit out their secrets, just as he had done with Gu Ryan. Would that be all right with you? He reaches out affectionately towards my shoulder as he asks. And then, crack, I grab his arm, shoulder, quote. Don't touch my shoulder. I grit my teeth and glare at him fiercely. I'll kill you, quote. Seo Weol laughs nervously and withdraws his hand, a bit flustered. I apologize. It seems I have indeed annoyed Taoist Seo. You know well. Now then, I'll think about your offer to help us. We'll decide later and contact you when needed, so get lost. I've been holding up well so far, but I fear that continuing to talk with him might give him a chance to find a gap, so I decide to rid Seo Weol immediately. Understood. We shall meet again later. And regarding the technique left by the owner of Salt Mountain and his successor, I will also endeavor to help. Do as you like. Additionally, regarding the lightning sacred sea, studying the ruins of the golden deity's shrine that was destroyed 40,000 years ago may accelerate the strategy for entering the lightning sacred sea. I'll provide this information freely as compensation for having possibly upset you. It's valuable information. The region he refers to as the lightning sacred sea is likely deeply related to Yang Su-jin's decaying corpse realm that the star-shattering esteemed ones are currently searching for. However, the problem is that Seo Weol is the source of the information. Only Seo Weol knows to what extent and how he might be lying to anyone. It's uncertain starting from where this information is reliable. The intention behind this information doesn't seem impure. Is it just trying to curry favor with me? And on top of that, there seems to be a bit of an intention to test me. By the way, 40,000 years ago, what was the most memorable event for you back then? For me, it was amusing when Hun Won received attention from the mountain deity. Haha, that's quite unique of you. Seo Weol laughs as if amused. The biggest event 40,000 years ago was the enthronement, wasn't it? The event when that person seized the imperial throne shook all 3,000 worlds in the heavenly domain, and even the heavenly venerables celebrated it. That incident practically influenced all events across the 3,000 worlds. The persecution of the descendants of the golden deity was merely one of the repercussions. To mention such a trivial event related to Hun Won, I catch Seo Weol's eyes as he spills information I am unaware of. Quote. Perhaps, if it involved the owner of Mount Tai, there must have been some intricacies that even I am unaware of. Thank you for the information. Seo Weol, momentarily making eye contact with me, smiles with his eyes curving like crescent moons. Since you seem to be searching for traces related to the owner of Mount Tai, you may already know this, but let me tell you one more thing. Go ahead. Seo Weol grins and turns his back to me. Hun Won acquired the supervisory eyes right after our ascension. It was said that he stayed put during the time when the Mad Lord was rampaging because he suddenly gained new supernatural abilities. Quote. And, Hun Won has never trained in such supernatural abilities before. But suddenly, right when we ascended, he obtained them. You know what this means, right? His words send a chill down my spine. Someone is lending him their eyes right now. Hoo. Thump, thump, thump. I feel cold sweat run down my back. I immediately understand the implication of Seo Wei-ol's words. Hun Wen didn't capture the Mad Lord at that time because at that moment, he had borrowed spiritual eye powers from some being. The being that granted him that spirit eye had deliberately chosen to do so right after our ascension. And that being is likely related to the Mount Tai splitting emperor technique, and by Seo Wei-ol's indication, associated with the owner of Mount Tai. All these facts imply one possibility. The owner of Mount Tai might have been monitoring us through Hun Wen's eyes immediately after the Enders ascended. Shiver. I realize why the character for supervise Jian in Hun Wen's eyes had particularly stuck in my mind. Perhaps that gaze might have been Hun Wen's, but it was not solely his. Thank you for the valuable information, Seo Wei-ol. It's nothing. Well then, I will see you again in the future. Seo Wei-ol smiles and is about to leave. And I too smile slyly as I draw the colorless glass sword once again from my mouth. Then farewell. Bo Wang, Pook Kwok. With my single strike, Seo Wei-ol is cleaved in half and killed. I see Seo Wei-ol's nascent soul scatter and split apart. His heavenly circle and earthly bearings scatter. Like so, Seo Wei-ol died. Chapter 284. My name is One. Chapter 284. My name is One. Whoosh. The sword is rampant. No, the colorless glass sword is more akin to a ray of light. Thousands of rays pour towards Seo Wei-ol. I move my sword with even more focus than when I eliminated those 15 4-axis stage cultivators. I will kill him right here. Originally, I had considered listening to Seo Wei-ol a bit and even using him to possibly collaborate to some extent. However, I realized my heart essence was involuntarily changing while talking to him. Seo Wei-ol was brainwashing me without me noticing. This guy, it's impossible to even associate with him. Kugugugu. The aftermath of my sword strikes makes the earth tremble. I will erase him without leaving a even speck of dust. Pot. Tens of thousands of rays burst forth from a single sword, disintegrating Seo Wei-ol's cells one by one. Daoist Seo, why are you? To kill a 4-axis stage cultivator, you must split the heavenly circle inside them. Daoist Seo, wait, my consciousness becomes even more precise. Seo Wei-ol's golden core shatters. His nascent soul collapses. The round heavenly circle inside him and the axis foundation accumulated in the region becomes visible. Shoo 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 shuck. 4 sword strikes in total. The 4 strikes primarily tear the heavenly circle and earthly bearings. Then, I begin to disintegrate his heavenly circle and earthly bearings completely. Pot. No, wait, listen to my. It seems like he's trying to say something, but I ignore it. There's no trust for someone who tries to brainwash another upon meeting. It's better to completely annihilate them upon meeting to avoid future troubles. Pot. He tries to reveal his 4-axis canopy, but even that is shredded by my colorless glass sword. His 4-axis canopy vanishes in an instant, and all that remains in front of me is his body turned to dust. Now, all of the flesh Ru is dead. However, 4-axis cultivators can resurrect. They can resurrect from their own bodies, but many 4-axis cultivators resurrect at a place they have designated. I can't stand to see that happen. So, how should one kill a 4-axis cultivator attempting to resurrect? It's simple. Wo Wang, the formless sword cries. At the same time, the plane of the formless sword rises, beginning to leap into the plane of soul. Wow, wait, you cannot resurrect. The formless sword, moving freely between planes, salivates towards Seo Wei-ol's soul. Cut. The sensation of the formless sword connects with me, and I begin to see the pathway of the soul that cultivators of the 4-axis stage pass through to resurrect. Normally, despite knowing an opponent might resurrect, a 4-axis cultivator cannot touch this soul passage. Not even those at the integration stage can do so, unless they are at the late integration stage or beyond. The plane is simply too high up. But I am different. Bo Wang. The formless sword already ascends to the plane where the soul passage is located, and cuts off Seo Wei-ol's connection to that passage. Pot. Ah. No. Die. Seo Wei-ol. Papa papa pat. An enormous current of light sweeps through and completely disintegrates Seo Wei-ol's soul. He perishes within the storm of light, along with a final breath of death throes. That is the end of Seo Wei-ol. Who, as soon as I confirm that Seo Wei-ol's soul scattered, I stop my sword. And I look at him. His body started regenerating his face despite being turned to dust due to his unbelievable vitality. However, once his soul scattered, the regeneration ceased. Only Seo Wei-ol's face remains on the corpse. That corpse of Seo Whale is still smiling. Smiling kindly, as if he had never felt the terror of death. Quote. I killed Seo Whale. I split the heavenly circle and earthly bearings thoroughly so that he can't even resurrect. Even his soul essence was scattered. But just what is it? Looking at Seo Whale's smiling face even in death, I can't shake the feeling that he isn't truly dead. It's incredibly unsettling. Could it possibly be a clone? However, I shake my head. This guy definitely used the 4-axis canopy, and he had heavenly circle and earthly bearings inside him. If what I killed was a clone, that would mean Seo Whale's clone was a 4-axis cultivator. He is not the Mad Lord, and there's no reason for him to waste a 4-axis clone in such a place. Moreover, although it was faint, his heart essence, and the intent he showed when he died, those were real. Meaning, this was indeed Seo Whale himself. Is he dead? Took took. I poke at Seo Whale's facial remains. It doesn't suddenly come back to life. Just in case, I pick up Seo Whale's facial remains, empty one of my storage scrolls, and seal his face inside it. Although I sealed it because it felt odd, if he really is dead, I can use it as material for an identity plaque later, so it won't be a loss. It seems like he's truly dead. No need for words like, did I kill him? He is certainly dead. Thinking so, I feel incredibly refreshed, and the heavy emotion that seemed to weigh on my heart dissipates. I realize that Seo Whale's mere existence had been a significant pressure on me. From now on, I should kill them as soon as I see him. I decided how I will deal with Seo Whale in the future. Then, I send a hard message to Hong Fan and Jaeon Myung-hoon to unblock their senses. After entering tribulating heavens, my ability to send heart language, not only to the heart tribe but to others, has significantly strengthened. Originally, those not from the heart tribe wouldn't even perceive the heart language. But now, I have sharpened the intent within the heart language itself, making it easier to send and convey my will. Right, so what was that all about? That dragon guy seemed like someone I saw at Ascension Path before. Yes, he was a very sly and cunning fellow. He dared to try and brainwash me, so I killed him. I answer Jaeon Myung-hoon's question, and Hong Fan laughs heartily. Haha, well done, Master. Those who covet Master all deserve to die. Seo Whale was certainly that kind of guy. Regarding Seo Whale, I won't feel any guilt no matter how many times I kill him. So what will you do now, Seo Eun-yun? It's obvious. I'll enter the human race Grand Alliance and be recognized as a Grand Cultivator. If not a Grand Cultivator, at least I will be recognized as having equivalent strategic value. Will they accept you? You're a wanted man, and from what I've heard, isn't that Heart Tribe technique something that the Heaven Tribe shuns? That's correct. However, the being that descended heavenly punishment, that entity wasn't just being watched by us that day. What? That day, all the integration stage Grand Cultivators of the Heaven Tribe were observing Thunder Spirit Island. I explain the whole situation. So, you mean to say that among the Heaven Tribe right now, aside from a few like Hunwan, everyone who was watching Thunder Spirit Island that day saw the owner of heavenly punishment and received critical injuries? That's right. So they'll accept you to fill the void in the Heaven Tribe's strength. Exactly. Well, that's not bad. Jaeon Myung-hoon nods as he speaks. Then I should prepare again for a place in the bright cold realm, so that the disciples of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect can settle there after they ascend. That's a good idea. Then first, shall we head to Heavenly Human Island in the Human Race Grand Alliance? Pot. That's when it happens. Zing. I suddenly twitch at a signal I feel from somewhere. Using the flying escape technique with Jaeon Myung-hoon, we fly towards the direction of the Human Race Grand Alliance, and I focus my mind on the signal. Eventually, I can discern where the signal is coming from. Yuan Yu. Yuan Yu has entered the bright cold realm. Wo Wang, Wu Wang. I connect to Yuan Yu's mind. The mysterious bizarre GU I had implanted in him activates, operating inside his nascent soul and connecting his and my vision and senses one by one. It's when I barely open my eyes in Yuan Yu's body and look around. Impressive. It's good to have gained an ascender as soon as the flying immortal platform was set up, but that the ascender is only at the mid-nascent soul stage is disappointing. Quote. I quickly look up at the man in the black robe who has approached and spoken. He looks down at me. A dense devilish energy emanates from him. It seems you're a cultivator trained in devilish arts. You have learned a rather decent devilish art in regeneration that allows you to withstand dimensional pressure. It's actually not a bad choice since the frequency of encountering vestiges should decrease when you ascend during the nascent soul stage. Where is this place? I already know, but I confirm again through Yuan Yu's mouth. This is the flying immortal platform within Black Ghost Valley in the bright cold realm. This isn't the Nether Ghost Realm. Oh, were you aiming for the Nether Ghost Realm when you ascended? Yes, I nod. I assumed it would lead to the Nether Ghost Realm based on the attractive force of the Nether crossing ship, but it turns out to be merely inside Black Ghost Valley. Meanwhile, I feel something was off. Wait, a flying immortal platform. Inside Black Ghost Valley, I look at the ground I am standing on. It's the same type of flying immortal platform that exists in the Heaven-Earth Palace. Inside the flying immortal platform, I can feel the power of the Void Spirit Pond. Ha, these Black Ghost Valley guys. Even though there is a Void Spirit Pond within their sect, they didn't report it to the human race and created their own flying immortal platform to monopolize it. Are they trying to absorb all the talents coming from the lower realms into their sect? I look at the black-robed cultivator. Facing Heogwak, I ask. Might I know why I, who ascended targeting the Nether Ghost Realm, ended up in the bright cold realm? It's simple. This flying immortal platform was fed with a vast amount of ghostly energy to make it very similar to the one in the Nether Ghost Realm. Quote exclamation mark quote. The Nether Ghost Realm is good, but our Black Ghost Valley in the bright cold realm is not bad either. In fact, in some ways, it's even better than the one in the Nether Ghost Realm. Although it differs slightly from the main lineage of the Black Ghost Valley in the Nether Ghost Realm, here too, we enjoy the honor of being among the human race's 5 great sects and receive considerable respect. We also share the majority of cultivation methods, only slightly inferior to those of the original sect. He grins as he speaks. If you train with our Black Ghost Valley, I can guarantee you'll see effects no different from training in the Nether Ghost Realm. We really like talented individuals like you who have advanced on their own. Moreover, we treat the talents we accept very well. How about it, won't you join our main sect? Quote. I awkwardly smile through Yuan Yu's body. Heogwak's intent comes right into my sight. Since he hasn't employed any magic artifact to defend against the Heart Tribe's vision like Xiao, I can somewhat guess his intention. If I refuse, he plans to kill me. The very existence of a flying immortal platform within their sect implies exactly that. A Void Spirit Pond should not be owned by any specific group, by principle. But what happens if someone ascends using a flying immortal platform made from a clandestinely obtained Void Spirit Pond and then chooses not to join their sect? Naturally, they will have no choice but to silence them through murder. Since Black Ghost Valley primarily deals with ghost path methods involving ghost souls, perhaps those who refuse their offer are simply killed and refined into ghost souls. From their perspective, it's either a source for acquiring quality disciples or for obtaining quality materials for ghost path methods, so having a flying immortal platform is not a bad thing for them. I pretend to ponder for a moment before speaking. It is an honor. I am grateful for the opportunity to join the Great Black Ghost Valley. Heogwak, whose face is neither that of a man nor a woman, brightly smiles and warmly pats my back. Congratulations on becoming a disciple of Black Ghost Valley. What's your name? After a moment of contemplation, I awkwardly smile and say, my name is Xiao Li. Translator notes, Xiao Li is Xiao Rip in the Raws. It's a reference to Yuan Li. As everyone knows by now, our MC's naming sense is quite questionable. Also, extra chapter cause of the spontaneous poll I did a while back if some of you remember. Chapter 285, my name is 2. Chapter 285, my name is 2. Damn it, what's Xiao Li? After Heogwak asked for my name, I blurted out in a panic. But after thinking about it for a moment, it seems like there could not be a worse name. Worried that Heogwak might know Yuan Li, I avoided using the surname Yuan. So I said the first thing that came to mind, and the worst name possible came out. Damn it, it's too late to change it now. Whether Heogwak knows what I am thinking or not, he laughs heartily and says, Xiao Li. The Xiao family has always been full of talented individuals. I once tried to recruit a member of the Xiao family to the sect, but failed. Truly, that person was the incarnation of talent. Haha, is that so? I awkwardly laugh, thinking I know who he is talking about. Well, anyway, thanks to the newly installed Flying Immortal platform, we will continue to expand our recruitment of talents. For now, you follow this child. Wo wung wo wung wo wung. As Heogwak waves his sleeve, a pitch-black ghost flies out from within. Take this one to the entrance hall. Wo Wang. The ghost nods as if it understands and starts flying off somewhere. Then I'll see you later. Follow him. Yes, senior. After seeing off Heogwak, I follow the ghost he released. Is this the interior of Black Ghost Valley? It's my first time at Black Ghost Valley, and it feels intriguing. A vast valley. Inside, through narrow paths that number by the dozens, hundreds, even thousands, the ghost manages to find the right path to guide me. After following the ghost for a while, I arrive in front of a small pavilion marked, Entrance Hall. The ghost growls lightly as if telling me to follow, and I enter the building ahead. Inside, I'm startled by a bizarre sight. In front of a black wooden desk within the entrance hall, sits a pristine white skeleton busy at work. Grand Perfection Nascent Soul Stage. No, the skeleton seems a bit beyond the nascent soul stage, almost stepping into the heavenly being stage. Although slightly shocked, I speak to the skeleton remembering the first time I met Song Jin. However, before I can start talking, the ghost that guided me flies next to the skeleton's skull and seems to whisper something to it. The language they use is neither the language of the demon race nor the common language of the Bright Cold Realm's Heaven tribe. They don't even use vocal cords to begin with, so I can't understand their language. After they exchange a few words among themselves, they both look at me. The skeleton gestures towards me. Soon, it speaks familiar words in the common language of the Heaven tribe. So, you came up through the 13th Flying Immortal platform. Yes, that's correct. The 13th Flying Immortal platform is newly created, so it's not fully developed yet. Normally, when an ascender comes up through a Flying Immortal platform, we immediately trace the attraction to find out where the ascender came from, but the 13th Flying Immortal platform doesn't have that feature yet. That's why I have to ask you directly. The skeleton's eye sockets light up with ghost fire as he questions me. Which lower realm are you from? Seeing his ghost fire, I realize that this is some sort of consciousness method. It's similar to the wonderfully mysterious innate heart canon. It's a method that can see the color of intent. There really are all sorts of methods. Thinking it's fascinating, I control my intent and answer. They call it the astral realm, a small star within it. What's the name of the star? It's called Earth. You're also from Earth. It nods as it writes something on a paper, and I, thinking of Kong Min-hee, ask it. Are there others from Earth besides me? However, at my question, the skeleton chuckles and says, if you ask the ascenders from the astral realm where they're from, 7 out of 10 will say they're from Earth. Those who name their star round land Dachu Earth aren't just 1 or 2. Do you think there are only 1 or 2 Earths in the astral realm? It's an issue I hadn't even considered, so I'm momentarily dumbfounded. Anyway, it seems true enough, so let's move on. Once again, what is your name? Seo Lee, is my name. Right, Seo Lee. And your gender? I am. Fwoosh. I, along with Jaeon Myung-hoon and Hong Fan, fly for several days and finally arrive in the human race territory. Are we going directly to Heavenly Human Island? To Jaeon Myung-hoon's question, I shake my head. I'm going, but you can't. You should first head to Thunder Spirit Island with Hong Fan and Yi Jin. If there's anything to salvage from the remains of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, take care of it. You're going alone? Yes. It's easier to escape alone if needed. Jaeon Myung-hoon nods. Okay, then let's meet later. If you escape, where should we meet? Come to the Light Spirit Pond in the Cold Spirit Race territory. We'll see each other there. After setting our plan, we part ways. I fly quickly and reach Heavenly Human Island. Because it's the main headquarters of the Human Race Grand Alliance, it has a stronger barrier than any other Sky Island, and because the integration stage Grand Cultivators are seriously injured, the barrier is even more fortified than usual. There are even checkpoints that weren't usually there. Passing Heavenly Being Taoist. To enter Heavenly Human Island, you need a pass and a reason for entry. I glance at the Grand Perfection Heavenly Being Cultivator at the checkpoint and, without responding, hold the colorless glass sword and conjure the 3 great ultimates behind me. Boong, Kwang. Instantly, I blow a hole right through the barrier. I bypass the stuttering Heavenly Being Cultivator and head to a place on Heavenly Human Island. Heavenly Human Island's Heavenly Cauldron Mountain. Usually, 7 Grand Cultivators of the human race reside there. There are 9 Grand Cultivators of the human race. Grand Perfection Integration Stage Black Dragon King from the allied Black Dragon race, Hyeonium. Early Integration Stage Palace Lord of Punglai Palace and Heaven Earth Palace, Hun 1. Grand Perfection Integration Stage Leader of the Human Race Grand Alliance, Junja. Early Integration Stage responsible for overseeing the entire human race, Wei Ryong Son. Mid-Integration Stage and Master of the Entering Truth Gate, Gai Jin. Mid-Integration Stage and Master of the Heavenly Lotus Sect, Ung Yian. Early Integration Stage and Chief Military Strategist of the Human Race Grand Alliance, Wei Su. Late Integration Stage Hermit Cultivator, Gao Mike. Integration Stage Cultivator Shrouded in Secrecy, Tae Yal Jaeon. These 9 are the pillars holding up the Human Race Grand Alliance. However, Tae Yal Jaeon, known only as an Integration Stage Cultivator, hardly attends the Council of Grand Cultivators, and the Black Dragon King doesn't participate in actual human race meetings since he is only treated as an ally. Therefore, it's accurate to say that the Human Race Grand Alliance is practically run by the 7, centered around the leader Junja, military strategist Wei Su, and overseer Wei Ryong Son, along with Hun Wan, Gao Mike, Ung Yian, and Gai Jin. I increase my speed as I fly towards Heavenly Cauldron Mountain to meet them. Far off, the Heavenly Cauldron Mountain where spiritual energy gathers shining with pure white catches my eye. The residence of Integration Stage Cultivators. But as I try to enter Heavenly Cauldron Mountain, something is off. Single quote ellipsis question mark single quote. No matter how much I fly, the distance to Heavenly Cauldron Mountain doesn't seem to get any closer. I realize I am passing the same place again. Am I going in circles? It isn't that my sense of direction is off. My senses are. Fine, that leads to only one explanation. The space is warped. The space, warped like a barrier, is preventing undesirables from entering. The way to cross such a space is simple. Those at the 4-axis stage or above can use axis techniques to fold space and move through it. However, though my power is at the integration stage, the capabilities I can use are limited to the heavenly being stage. My current abilities are insufficient to straighten the warped space. What should be done then? If all I have is strength, then using strength is the way to go. It's simple logic. Kugugugu. I put strength into my hand holding the colorless glass sword. Lifting the colorless glass sword with all my might, I bring it crashing down. The bent space is caught in my senses. The plane is terribly distorted. Kududugak. Just like that, the space rips open, and the twisted space carves a path. Calmly, I enter the interior following the flow of the dragon vein that reaches deep inside Heavenly Cauldron Mountain. And when I arrive in front of Heavenly Cauldron Mountain, Pabababat, faint projections block my path. A total of 6 projections. All the Grand Cultivators except Hun Wan, who resides in Heaven Earth Palace, and the enigmatic Grand Cultivator Tae Yal Jaeon, send their projections. A familiar face speaks to me. It's Wei Ryong Son. How dare you step foot into Heavenly Cauldron Mountain, the sacred site of the Human Race Grand Alliance, so carelessly? I smirk and reply, I wish to receive a cave residence on Heavenly Cauldron Mountain and came to ask for permission from the Grand Cultivators of Heavenly Cauldron Mountain. Their eyebrows twitch at my words. You know the conditions for receiving a cave residence on Heavenly Cauldron Mountain, correct? Yes. Either you are a Grand Cultivator at the integration stage, or you represent a super-large force equivalent to the 6 great sects of the human race. I am aware it's one of the two. You know well, you are not a Grand Cultivator, just a Heavenly Being stage cultivator. I grin. I do not seek a cave residence as a Grand Cultivator. Then what is it exactly? Can't a super-large force take a cave residence on its own? Quote. You mean to say you have the backing of a force equivalent to the 5 great sects of the human race? No, then, I, as an individual, am equivalent to the 5 great sects. Stunned by my audacious statement, the Grand Cultivators are momentarily speechless. Wei Ryong Son speaks again. You are arrogant. Is that so? Do you know that Hun Wan has reissued a bounty on you? A substantial bounty has been placed by Penglai Palace, and your crimes are clearly listed. One of the charges is your unauthorized escape from the Flying Immortal platform. Well, I had already registered my name under the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect at Temporal Fate Island before. Why should I be bound by the Flying Immortal platform then? That's the procedure. Even if you ascend again after descending to the lower realm, the procedure is necessary. And you descended to the lower realm without even notifying the Grand Alliance, acting on your own initiative. That alone is a crime, and you even went so far as to hide the Void Spirit Pond in the True Devil Realm for years, obstructing the conquest of the True Devil Realm. This is a grave offense. Is that so? The fact that you entered Heavenly Mountain today, where there is a Grand Cultivator meeting, without permission. You have too many charges. Even speaking with you like this is a mercy. I smile slightly at Wei Ryong-son's threatening words. After entering tribulating heavens, even though it's just a projection, I can somewhat see his intent. Reading the intents of the other grand cultivators besides Wei Ryong-son, I can understand why they are treating me this way. That's how it is. Feeling even more confident about their intents, I speak to Wei Ryong-son. Then, no need for further mercy, let's see about my punishment. What? Punishment? Let's see you impose it. At my words, Wei Ryong-son stares at me quietly. And our standoff continues for a while. None of them dare to attack me first. It seems they all suffered quite a bit from the owner of heavenly punishment. Normally, it should have been their real bodies coming down, not just threatening me with projections. Just then, the leader of the Human Race Grand Alliance and head of the Grand Cultivator meeting, the Grand Perfection Integration Stage Grand Cultivator known as Junja, steps forward. Inspector Wei Ryong-son, you are to arrest Seo Eun-yun. Once Seo Eun-yun is captured, a trial will be held immediately to determine the punishment. Upon hearing this, Wei Ryong-son's expression hardens, and he vanishes from the spot abruptly. Shortly after Wei Ryong-son's projection disappears, the space split, and a man wearing a featureless white mask appears from beyond the space. Wei Ryong-son, the true body. Kugugugu. An immense pressure bears down on me. Simultaneously, the projections of the other 5 grand cultivators soar into the air and each stretch out their hands somewhere. The space around suddenly expands. The stage is set for a showdown between me and Wei Ryong-son. I can feel his gaze from behind the faceless mask. I provoke Wei Ryong-son. The energy I feel from you seems to be at the 4-axis stage. Are you in a lot of pain? Do your joints ache? Wei Ryong-son, who had been staring at me, grins. Indeed, I sustained critical injuries after directly facing the entity that descended upon Thunder Spirit Island last time. My condition is still far from good. Admitting it so readily, as I express surprise, Wei Ryong-son continues speaking. Despite that, do you know why I had to step forward among us? Please enlighten me. At my words, Wei Ryong-son reaches towards the sky. Simultaneously, I feel a surge of energy from beyond the sky and instinctively step back. Kugugugu. From afar, from a very distant place, enormous energy is being emitted and transmitted in this direction. Pot. Hundreds of beams of light strike down from the sky. I trace back the closest beam that falls to determine its origin. Wei Ryong-son's avatar. Grand Cultivator Wei Ryong-son dispatched his avatars across various areas of the human race to monitor the overall situation. Moreover, since Heavenly Human Island is incredibly large, about 3 of his avatars besides his main body were dispatched there. Those 3 avatars are currently merging into the dragon veins of Heavenly Human Island, transferring the power of the island's dragon veins to the main body of Wei Ryong-son. The identities of the other beams are likely the same. The avatars of Wei Ryong-son dispatched to other sky islands are melting their respective dragon veins and transferring that power to him. Kugugugu. I marvel in astonishment as I watch Wei Ryong-son receiving the power of all the human race's sky island's dragon veins. His aura, which was merely at the 4-axis level, is rapidly increasing. If it's this much, in a short-term battle, I can reach my peak condition. The next moment, Boong, enveloped in the flying escape technique, he charges at me with a 7-colored fan in one hand. I'll straighten out your crooked head. Rurururururu. Flames engulf everything. The 7-colored flames spread in all directions, instantly turning the expanded space into a sea of 7-colored fire. And I summon the 3 great ultimates. A worthy opponent indeed. The next moment, Kwang, my colorless glass sword has already pierced through Wei Ryong-son's throat. Opening square bracket ... exclamation mark closing square bracket. As if not understanding what just happened, he looks shockingly surprised. I observe him continually recharging his energy, my eyes shining with anticipation. Give it your all. Aguk, Kuong. Flinging him aside as if swatting a fly, I bare my teeth in a grin. I might accidentally kill you. You, that power. Kwang. Kicking off the void, I charge at Wei Ryong-son like a predator in a frozen world. I wonder if he had gambled his way up to the position of an integration stage grand cultivator. Using the flying escape technique, he begins to move nimbly in the frozen world. But he is too slow. Boong. Flash. With my colorless glass sword overlaid with the formless sword, I slice through his upper body. I then steady my stance and thrust 106 penetrating sword strikes towards him again. Yet, He can't even react. This. Your power, the power of the heart tribe. Heaven, earth, heart, mad lord go. These 4 pillars of power supply me with a volcanic force. I amplify this power through General Seo's circuits, relentlessly pushing him back. Arg. Soon losing even the leisure to speak, Wei Ryong-son focuses solely on following my attacks with his eyes as we exchange blows. At that moment, whoosh, Wei Ryong-son, having gathered his energy, casts the flying escape technique even faster and suddenly moves from in front of me to a distance far away. I instantly extend the formless sword towards him, now 2,000 li away. The formless sword rushes like lightning, but the transfer of power is somewhat diminished by the distance. And Wei Ryong-son, having withstood my strike, begins to form hand seals. The real battle begins now. You damned heart tribe spy. Die. Simultaneously, countless clones spring from Wei Ryong-son's shadow. Each one is at the level of a heavenly being stage, densely surrounding him. Ho, even if it's a kind of spell technique and meant for short-term use. These unstable clones won't last long. However, the moment the number of heavenly being stage clones surpass 300 million, I can't help but burst into hollow laughter. Goo. The clones disperse in all directions, forming hand seals. He's trying to set up a formation. Severing mountain swordsmanship. Layered mountains. Goo. The formless sword spreads across heaven and earth, turning into a massive thorn bush that could envelop the world. Each thorn and bush possess the force to split mountain ranges, literally capable of grinding through layers of mountains. The clones of Wei Ryong-son begin to burst one by one under the onslaught of the formless sword. But that is not the end. I draw all 3,000 colorless glass swords and spread them out in the air. The formless sword is imbued within the colorless glass swords. Wei Ryong-son's clones begin to form more clones. And those clones again begin to produce more clones. And the clones gather to form their own formations. In the formations, their power is amplified. Severing mountain swordsmanship. 3,000 lights emerging peak. Goo. 3,000 colorless glass swords. From those colorless glass swords, 3,000 strands of formless sword energy spread. 9 million streaks of sword energy sweep forward. The clones struck by the sword energy burst all at once. Severing mountain swordsmanship. Bouldered. Cliff. The 9 million strands of sword energy, converging and clumped together, shake and thrash wildly in all directions. Storms of sword energy erupt here and there, sweeping away Wei Ryong-son's clones. Whoosh. One of his clones fly towards me and reaches out its hand. I simply burst the avatar with a slash of sword energy. That's when it happens. Pabat. Opening square bracket ellipsis exclamation mark closing square bracket. The clone and Wei Ryong-son's true body swaps places. Wei Ryong-son's true body swing the 7-colored fan at me. Roo. Flames hotter than lava melt the earth as they rush towards me. I quickly dash towards him, swinging my hand. But once again, Wei Ryong-son switches places with a clone. Annoying. If this continues, it'll be an endless game of tag. I'll sweep them all away. Severing mountain swordsmanship. Severing mountain. Goo. 3,000 colorless glass swords, guided by my will, each begin to unfold the severing mountain swordsmanship imbued with the formless sword. 3,000 severing mountains fill the heavens and the earth, crashing in every direction. As light flickers, Wei Ryong-son's clones are obliterated in an instant. That is when, I notice the energies amplified by the formation created from Wei Ryong-son's clones converging into one point. There. That's where the main body is. Just as I'm about to unleash my attack in that direction. Wei Ryong-son begins to expand his domain from there. Opening square bracket ... exclamation mark closing square bracket. His domain quickly envelops me, and I suddenly find myself in a world filled with colorful masks. Flash. Suddenly, a mask next to me transforms into Wei Ryong-son and charges at me. Goo. The 7-colored fan he holds seems to sear red, then swiftly turns yellow, white, and blue. A bright blue flame engulfs me. This flame is incomparably more powerful than the previous flames. Baring my teeth, I reach out my hand. Crack. I break through the flames and approach Wei Ryong-son, grabbing him as he shows a startled expression. I was wondering, when you'd deploy your domain. What? For 4-axis cultivators, the heavenly circle and earthly bearings need to be split in order to die, but you grand cultivators die only when the domain born from the united heavenly circle and earthly bearings is destroyed. So, I fling my sword towards the flustered Wei Ryong-son. He switches places with a clone, but my sword bursts through the clone and digs into his domain. Kwang. Just as the head realm's dimensional barrier crumbled under my sword, Wei Ryong-son's domain crumbles under my strike. The 4-axis stage's 4-axis canopy felt soft like cutting through water. But the domain of the integration stage is definitely different. A dimensional barrier in itself. Impressive. I tear through Wei Ryong-son's dimensional barrier while laughing. Intent floats around inside his domain, revealing his emotions. The domain is filled with the intent of pain. Wei Ryong-son's clones all charge at me simultaneously. Outside the domain, they are of the heavenly being stage, but inside, each is of the early 4-axis stage. Moreover, each is using the flying escape technique at the integration level as they rush towards me. But, too slow. Kwang. Wei Ryong-son's domain crumbles under one strike of my sword. Compared to Kim Young-hoon. Kwang. The domain is torn apart by a second strike. Compared to Hun-won. Jaeong. With the third strike, countless clones explode, and a hole is blown through the domain as if it's a dimensional barrier itself. Continuously, repeatedly delivering strikes to the domain itself. I cleave away the countless clones and gradually head towards Wei Ryong-son's main body. He continues to switch places with his clones while fleeing far within the domain. And from afar, he shoots blue flames at me, but I am gradually closing in on him. Severing mountain swordsmanship. Foolish old man moves mountains. Kwang. The slash explodes massively, shattering Wei Ryong-son's rushing clones all at once, and his domain is tattered everywhere. I reach an extreme speed in an instant and charge towards Wei Ryong-son. He switches places with a clone again. It's confusing to read intent within the domain. With the vision of the Heart Tribe alone, it would be impossible to recognize where he is. However, through the perception I acquired from Kim Young-hoon, I determine where he is, trying to switch. Pot. As soon as he starts to switch with another clone, I change direction and arrive in front of Wei Ryong-son. I strike down with my sword. Kwang. An explosion scatters, and the Wei Ryong-son's entire domain trembles. Behind his half-destroyed mask, he meets my eyes with a pale, shocked expression. Kuuk, cuckoo. He is barely holding off my colorless glass sword with his 7-colored fan. However, my sword is gradually digging into his Dharma treasure. Well then, I extend 7 pairs of wings from behind. Take care. As the energy of Azure Wing Heavenly Shatter is being loaded into my colorless glass sword, ready to split his Dharma treasure and Wei Ryong-son himself in two. Whoosh. Stop right there. Someone places a hand on my shoulder. Grand Perfection Integration Stage. It's Junja, the head of the Human Race Grand Alliance. Quote exclamation mark quote. I'm startled by the touch on my flesh. The Grand Alliance leader brought his true body. I didn't notice. As I break out in a cold sweat, he claps his hands. Clap. At the sound of his clapping, Wei Ryong-son immediately retracts his domain and takes back his Dharma treasure into his mouth. Right. Congratulations. You have proven your qualifications. I too reabsorb the colorless glass swords back into my mouth and step back. Quote. Next time, please be careful with the shoulder. Haha, understood. Anyway, does anyone doubt Seo Eun-yun's capabilities now? Suddenly, the integration stage grand cultivators, not just projections but their main bodies, are watching from around. None here. I am satisfied. The future of the human race looks bright. Mastering the Heart Tribe's techniques to this extent, it will be very beneficial for the study of the Heart Path method. Everyone gives me positive evaluations. I smile, realizing the intent I had read earlier was correct. They had been testing me from the start. Junja looks at Wei Ryong-son and asks. Grand Cultivator Wei Ryong-son, what do you think? Wei Ryong-son, dusting off his body, replies. Exceptional. This child will be the new future of the human race. Junja laughs heartily. Congratulations. Except for Hun-won and Tae Yal-jeon who are not present, more than half of the Grand Cultivators of the Human Race Grand Alliance have recognized you. His words confirm that I have finally been acknowledged by them. Congratulations on passing the test safely. You've worked hard up until now. Only good things will await you in the future. I respectfully bow. From now on, we look forward to your support, Grand Cultivator Seo. Chapter 286. My name is 3. Chapter 286. My name is 3. Wo Wang. So my main body has become a Grand Cultivator. I'm currently sitting next to the entrance of Black Ghost Valley, in a place called the Grand Ghost Cave, meditating and receiving signals from my main body. It's strange to even say, main body. Since my main body and I are currently sharing all senses, thoughts, and emotions, there really is no distinction between us. No, the name is different. Co Li, what a terribly dreadful name I've come up with spontaneously. No matter how many times I think about it, it's a name that brings a sense of dread and self-loathing. Should I just wait here? Yes, just wait a bit in the Grand Ghost Cave. Understood. The white skeleton nascent soul stage cultivator guarding the entrance, Baek Jin, leads another man into the Grand Ghost Cave, who looks around and sits next to me. The energy he emits is at the early nascent soul stage. Ah, senior, are you also here to enter Black Ghost Valley? I had heard from Baek Jin that typically, if someone at the heavenly being stage is an ascender, they are given the position of elder of the Black Ghost Valley after they swear loyalty. Trust built at the elder position leads to becoming a grand elder. However, Co Li is still at the mid-nascent soul stage, so he can't be directly given the elder position. So instead, they offered to let him take a test to become a disciple of the Black Ghost Valley's Yin Soul, Yin Hun. The hierarchy in Black Ghost Valley is divided into 5 stages. Qi refining disciples are called gate spirits, Men Ling. Qi building disciples are called corpse spirits, Shi Ling. Those showing talent in Qi building are called corpse souls, Shi Hun. Core formation disciples are called ghost souls, Gui Hun. Nascent soul disciples are called yin souls, Yin Hun. This is the disciple hierarchy of Black Ghost Valley. And the nascent soul disciples who are likely to reach the heavenly being stage and who demonstrate high potential are called law protectors, Hu Fa. Heavenly being cultivators are called elders, Zhang Lao. Those in the heavenly being stage who show high trust or loyalty, or have made significant contributions to the sect. And those likely to reach the 4-axis stage are given the position of Grand Elder, Yuan Lao. From the middle boundary upwards, the hierarchy is determined by color. 4-axis stage are called Black Grand Elders, Heisei. Integration stage are called Blue Grand Elders, Lansei. Star Shattering stage are called Azure Grand Elders, Qingse. According to what I heard, Azure Grand Elders do not exist in the Bright Cold Realm, but rather in the Nether Ghost Realm, where the main sect of Black Ghost Valley is located. And if what Jangik said in my past life is true, there should currently be no Azure Grand Elders even in the Nether Ghost Realm. They must have been dispatched on an expedition to find Yangsu Jin's decaying corpse realm. Black Ghost Valley also has a deep history and foundation. In sects like Azure Heaven Creation Sect or Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder Sect, the hierarchy only goes up to the 4-axis stage at best, but Black Ghost Valley has a hierarchy up to the Star Shattering stage. And, currently, I was told that if I pass the entrance test of Black Ghost Valley, I would be directly accepted as a Yin Soul disciple. Normally, outsiders, even if they are at the Grand Perfection Nascent Soul stage, must prove their abilities by taking the Ghost Soul Disciple test to enter, unless proven otherwise. However, since I had ascended at the mid-nascent soul stage, they are allowing me to take the test appropriate for the Yin Soul level. However, there is one annoying aspect of this examination. Haha, Cultivator CO. So, when this Heo Nam Quan was fighting that monster. To take the Yin Soul test, at least 5 participants are required, and so far, aside from the talkative Heo Nam Quan and me, no one else is ready to take the test. Thanks to this, while my main body was thriving and receiving the title of Grand Cultivator, I had to keep waiting in this damp and rotten-smelling Grand Ghost Cave, listening to Heo Nam Quan's nonsense. He's said to be a descendant of the Black Grand Elder Heo Ryong's side branch. It was said that, similar to the head realm's Cheongman clan, the main family pays no attention to this side branch. However, this side branch family member somehow stood out and successfully reached the early nascent soul stage, being specially admitted to take the Yin Soul test. Haha, in fact, I was really debating whether to join Black Ghost Valley or the Yin Soul Ghost sect among the 6 great sects. I glance at Heo Nam Quan, who is chattering annoyingly, and sigh inwardly. His intent is a light pink color. What does this guy think my gender is? It seems like he's trying something because of Yuan Yu's beauty. Even though one of our distant ancestors was a ghost devil, they were from over 30 generations ago. In fact, recently, the Yin Soul Ghost sect has been beating Black Ghost Valley in the competition. I wasn't even considering Black Ghost Valley, but, haha, suddenly Black Ghost Valley overwhelmed and merged with the Yin Soul Ghost sect, turning the 6 great sects into the 5 great sects. 5 great sects of the human race, huh? Indeed. Around the time we were facing the heavenly tribulation on Thunder Spirit Island, Black Ghost Valley used the Nether Crossing ship brought up from the lower realm to successfully merge the Yin Soul Ghost sect into Black Ghost Valley. I had only known them as the 6 great human sects, but in reality, they had become the 5 great human sects. Well, I heard that the Yin Soul Ghost sect was originally a devilish sect lineage that split from Black Ghost Valley. Since they were originally one, there wasn't a big problem with merging. Hem. Anyway, miss, I get annoyed by Heo Nam Kwan's advances and glare at him as I speak. We're not even close, what, miss? And I never said I was a woman. Ah, no. Heo Nam Kwan seems greatly shocked by my response and staggers backward from me. That face, you're saying it's not that of a woman. Quote. I've never really cared about Yuan Yu's face, but this is incredibly uncomfortable. I ponder what to do for a moment, then touch my face. Wo Wang, the devilish energy of the blood demon suppressing sea light covers my face, and a black fog-like mask, similar to the one Yuan Li wore, covers my face. Damn, now I really feel like I've become Yuan Li. In fact, it's no different from when I had switched to Yuan Yu's body during the 10th cycle. I feel particularly disgusted by that fact. I hate using this disgusting black devil mask spell. I should just buy a mask to wear. As soon as I put on the black mask, Heo Nam Kwan feels as if there's no chance for conversation with me and shrinks into a corner of the Grand Ghost Cave. How long have I waited in the Grand Devil Cave? After 3 days. Step. Baek Jin leads 3 people into the Grand Ghost Cave. Now, it seems we have enough people. Shall we proceed with the entrance test with you 5, or shall we wait for more to join? 5 is the minimum number required, so you can wait, or proceed now. However, if you fail this time, you'll only be able to enter as Ghost Soul disciples, not Yin Soul. A bald man with tattoos and muscles, a man in black robes resembling a corpse, and a woman in white mourning clothes resembling a ghost maiden. The bald tattooed man is at the late nascent soul stage, and the corpse-like man and the ghostly maiden are at the grand perfection nascent soul stage. The bald tattooed man looks back and forth between me and Heo Nam Kwan, then clicks his tongue and says, "Mid-nascent soul stage. Look at that, the other is at the early stage. Rather than taking the test with these weak ones, it might be better to wait for 2 more. The corpse-like man says nothing, and the ghostly maiden just giggles like a madwoman. Fake madness. Knowing the madness of the Mad Lord, the weak craziness exhibited by the ghostly maiden seems very clumsy. What's this? Why is everyone so quiet? It's Heo Nam Kwan who responds to the bald man's words. Hey, I don't know how great you think you are. Kwang. And then, the bald man charges at Heo Nam Kwan in an instant and blows his head off. Quote. Heo Nam Kwan regenerates his head while writhing in pain, and the bald man laughs while looking at me. Can't even endure this much pain. How about you? You also have no objections to waiting for 2 more, right? As he raises his fist towards me, I let out a chuckle. Sorry, but I was the first to arrive at the Grand Ghost Cave, and I've waited quite a long time. I don't feel like waiting anymore. I'll help you learn some patience. Bo Wang. He kicks off the ground and charges towards me. He practiced body refining techniques. His physique is visibly robust. However, I remain calm and extend my arm, effortlessly deflecting his punch using a force diverting technique. What? While he's confused, I use the grasping hand technique and twist his arms behind him to subdue him. Boodoodook. Arg. For someone who complained about not being able to endure the pain of having one's head smashed, you sure are melodramatic. The people I know would have either pulled out their arm or cut it off to escape. Do you not even have the guts? Typically, cultivators from the head realm would have cut off the trapped part of their body immediately to escape, like a lizard shedding a part of its body, unless they were seized by the testicles. But it seems he isn't from the head realm, as he didn't display such resilience. You bastard. Krrrrk. A powerful corpse energy erupts from his body, trying to push me away, but I inject the devilish energy of blood demon suppressing sea light into his body, blocking his spiritual veins instead. As the sticky, blood-colored devilish energy clogs his spiritual vein, the bald tattooed man fails to muster his energy and is subdued by me. Stay put. You. I bend down to meet his eyes. Behind the black devil mask, my eyes glint menacingly. He's probably seeing Yuan Yu's eyes flickering red from behind the black mask. Before I kill you. Quote. He freezes up, facing my killing intent, far beyond what a typical cultivator at the heavenly being stage could even muster. I've been through many battles. Though Xiao Li is my avatar, the murderous intent displayed just now is far more than what any nascent soul stage cultivator can handle. Quote. He sweats coldly, avoiding my gaze, and I turn to look at the other grand perfection nascent soul cultivators who are watching the scene with interest. My undisguised killing intent meets the eyes of the corpse-like man, and the woman in mourning clothes. Do either of you have any objections to taking the test with the current number of people? The corpse-like man awkwardly smiles as he faces my glinting eyes, forcing his corpse-like expression away, and the woman in mourning clothes straightens up and smiles politely, as if cured of her madness. No objections. Me neither. I look at Heo Nam Quan. He too seems to feel my killing intent, turning as pale as a corpse. I too, am very satisfied. I collect the unanimous opinions and relay them to Baek Jin. It seems everyone is eager to proceed with the test. Baek Jin nods as he observes us. And says, then, let's begin the Black Ghost Valley entrance test. Follow me. He leads us somewhere with his hands behind his back, and following him through the inner part of the valley, we soon arrive at a place filled with thorny vines. I recognize the true nature of the thorny vines and my eyes shine with understanding. Suddenly, Baek Jin, who had been guiding us, disappears from in front of us. It seems we have entered a formation. The test is simple. Baek Jin's voice fills the space crowded with brambles. The thorny vines in front of you are a specially crafted kind of curse. If the 5 of you combine your strengths to escape this cursed space, the test will be passed. Quack. Before Baek Jin can finish speaking, I grab a stem of the vines. Curse Reversal. Chapter 287. My name is 4. Chapter 287. My name is 4. Do. The entire space trembles. I realize that the curse of the vine I am holding is connected to the formation spread throughout the space. As the curse is reversed, the formation that had been perfectly aligned with the curse begins to be thoroughly shaken. Whoosh! The withered, twisted vines writhe wildly, and new shoots begin to sprout from various thorns. After a while, dazzling white flowers blossom from within the buds. And then, suddenly, boom! A brilliant burst of light sweeps in all directions, scattering white petals everywhere, and the thorny vines disappear without a trace. Along with them, the formation that had been established in space appears to gradually dismantle, and before we know it, we are inside a small pupil about 3 jong in diameter. In front of us, Baek Jin is kneeling and staggering. Kek, ku, damn it, an extreme righteous Ji Jung method with the attribute of suppressing devils Jong Mo. How do you have such a method while also practicing devilish arts? No, even if you had learned a devil-suppressing technique, without understanding the curse, you should never have broken it. It seems that he is directly connected to the formation. Baek Jin staggers while spewing out white energy from his mouth. I grin and say, if you attain extreme devilry, Jimo, you might also see the path to liberation from it. Hey, he. So that was not an extreme righteousness method. Well, I understand. Just remember one thing. He glares at me, his eyes blazing with fury. In the Black Ghost Valley, those who practice devilish arts are the vast majority, so using such demon-suppressing techniques is forbidden. This was your first time, and since you weren't warned, I'll let it pass, but be careful. Understood. So, are we disqualified because I used that method just now? He, of course not. You all have passed with the highest scores. Busususis. Quote. Exclamation mark quote. I'm startled. Baek Jin's body begins to crumble into white powder. Gradually, his voice turns into a spiritual echo and resonates through the space. Since you have succeeded in killing the examiner, you are all now Yin Soul disciples. Since the death happened so senselessly, the next procedures will be guided by this guy. Crack. With those words, Baek Jin flicks his sleeve, summons a ghost, and then crumbles to death. I stand there dumbfounded, confused. He's dead. He was so calm I thought he was just tired and going to sleep. However, unlike my confusion, the other cultivators look at me with eyes of admiration. It's remarkable, fellow cultivator. To kill an examiner. The examiners of Black Ghost Valley are all famously stronger than those of the same realm, and to kill an examiner who had reached the threshold of the heavenly being stage in one go. I was rude earlier. I apologize. Surrounded by these completely different tones, I feel bewildered. Just then, all 5 of you, please follow me. I will distribute the Yin Soul Disciple plaques. The ghost that came from Baek Jin's sleeve speaks to us, emitting a dark ghostly energy. Quote. Let's all receive our identity plaques for now. I follow the ghost, hiding my confusion. The ghost leads us back the way we had come. Are we going back to the entrance? I cautiously ask the ghost while following. By any chance, am I going to be punished for killing a law enforcer of Black Ghost Valley? Number. Sir Baekjin simply died because his training was insufficient. You need not worry. Isn't that a loss of strength for the sect? Ah right. Sir Seo Lee, you did say you ascended. You must be unaware about the situation in Black Ghost Valley. The expressions of the other four turn into shock. He's an ascender. How could a body at the nascent soul stage withstand the spatial pressure? I heard that there are terrifying monsters in the interdimensional void. Yes, you are truly remarkable. How did you ascend? May I ask about your experience at the time of ascension? In the sects I had joined so far, there was not much direct interaction with disciples native from the bright cold realm, and since the sect itself was a group that had ascended collectively, there was little concern for individual ascenders. However, it appears that individual ascenders are highly valued in the bright cold realm. Especially in cases like Yuan Yu, who ascended while still in the nascent soul stage. Wondering what to tell them, I decided to keep it brief due to the length of the explanation. We shall discuss it later. After saying so, I wait for the ghost's response. Why are they so nonchalant about me killing Baekjin? Then, I can only be astonished by the ghost's next words. Starting from Ghost Soul Disciples, we offer 2 resurrection opportunities within Black Ghost Valley itself. Using the Nether Crossing ship or Black Ghost Valley's special grand formation, resurrection isn't difficult. Of course, the higher the cultivation, the more resources resurrection consumes, so for Black Grand Elders and above, one must handle their own resurrection. Quote ... exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark quote. They provide resurrection opportunities. The ghost speaks as if it's nothing serious, leaving me dumbfounded. Moreover, if the Nether Crossing ship has the ability to resurrect. Only now do I understand why the Mad Lord was so obsessed with stealing the power source of the Nether Crossing ship. A Nether Crossing ship with a power source is, in itself, a divine artifact with resurrection capabilities. But, seeing her state, there seems to be a limit. As I'm startled, the bald tattooed man smiles amicably and says, "Did you not know, fellow cultivator? It makes sense not to know if you ascended. Apart from Black Ghost Valley, all the major human race great sects are backed by grand cultivators at the integration stage or by the Dragon King themselves. One of the reasons Black Ghost Valley is part of the major sects without having an integration stage grand cultivator is its undying aspect. Undying. Don't most who practice devilish arts possess that? It doesn't just mean strong regenerative abilities. The devilish cultivators of Black Ghost Valley are famous for their incredibly tough lifelines. In Black Ghost Valley, minor boundary cultivators are offered 1 resurrection through the valley's grand formation and 1 through the Nether Crossing ship. After that, if you learn a few special methods of the valley, you can be resurrected in the form of a corpse, and if you die in that form, you can be resurrected again using a method that allows you to take over someone else's body. When you can no longer be resurrected, you can be sealed inside the shrine within the Nether Crossing ship in the form of a Ghost King, continuing your life in this world. In the form of a Ghost King, it's even harder to be killed, and even if you do manage to be killed, there's a technique that allows you to remain in this world in the form of a lingering soul, Zon Hunt, making it even harder to truly die. Quote ... quote. I'm astounded by his explanation. This puts Yuan Li to shame. The bald tattooed man is clearly someone trying to enter the Black Ghost Valley from the outside. In short, the number of resurrections known by outsiders are comparable to Yuan Li. This means that the elders and grand elders likely have even more than 7 lives, perhaps even up to 14 resurrections. And while I am thinking this, I discover one terrifying truth. Then, the talk about the Mad Lord destroying 1/3 of the Black Ghost Valley. That means he had exhausted all those insane amounts of resurrections and ultimately smashed the Nether Crossing ships. This is utter madness. Shivering, I recall Song Jin, who remained in the form of a lingering soul, and I can't even begin to estimate how many times he had been killed by the Mad Lord. Yes, our Black Ghost Valley is known to have a history older than the Bright Cold Realm. Considering the Bright Cold Realm's history is just shy of 490,000 years, the power and history we've accumulated over such a long time is truly something great. Quote ... It seems so. I follow the ghost to the entrance of the valley, where I engrave my name on a dark blue jade plaque distributed by the ghost. Holding the dark blue jade plaque inscribed with Seo Lee, I feel a mix of emotions. Then, please follow me. I will assign each of you a cave residence, and introduce you to the sect. The ghost leads us deeper into Black Ghost Valley. As we move closer to the center of Black Ghost Valley, the ghostly energy becomes denser, and the form of the ghost guiding us becomes clearer. He's a little boy wearing a dark robe. Feeling our gaze, he speaks. Oh, I haven't introduced myself. I am Yu Yian. In my lifetime, I was one of the chi refining initiates of Black Ghost Valley. However, 100 years ago, I lost my life due to an attack by the Yin Soul Ghost sect, and my master, Baek Jin, took me in. Now, I serve as a guide in the form of a ghost soul here at the entrance. Quote. I see. Doesn't being dead bother you? Death was painful and terrifying when I died, but I have grown quite accustomed to it now. My master also treats me well, so there are no issues. I feel strange about the Black Ghost Valley's unusual attitude towards death. How peculiar. They do not fear death, but rather become familiar with it. I follow Yu Yian to a cliff deep in the valley. This is the pride of Black Ghost Valley, the location where the divine artifacts, the Nether Crossing ships are anchored. Looking below the cliff, there is a massive source of ghostly energy. 2 Nether Crossing ships are emitting tremendous ghostly energy, floating on pitch-black water. Upon closer inspection, the black water is not real water but a congregation of a vast number of lingering souls. I frown at the sight of this congregation. Unlike Yu Yian's peaceful state, these are tormented lingering souls. As I grimace, Yu Yian points downwards. Down there are the cave residences. Please follow. We follow Yu Yian down and are assigned cave residences carved into the cliff. Hee, the ghostly energy is sinister, the best environment for practicing devilish arts. Truly, this is the great Black Ghost Valley. Hee, the corpse-like man and the bald tattooed man admire their cave residences, while the woman in mourning dress begins to laugh ominously as if her madness is returning. Heo Nam Quan also seems to be pleased, absorbing the surrounding ghostly energy and starting to hum a tune. Sir Seo's cave residence is here. I, too, am assigned a cave residence close to the Nether Crossing ship, where the ghostly energy is dense. Please follow me. Now that you have been assigned a cave residence, we should first go and greet the seniors of the sect. We followed Yu Yian into the Nether Crossing ship. Entering the familiar interior, I am reminded of the past. Kugugugu. The Nether Crossing ship seems alive, with ghostly energy flowing throughout. It's almost like a dragon vein itself. An intact Nether Crossing ship appears no different from a moving ascension path. After following Yu Yian for a while, we enter a deep shrine within the Nether Crossing ship. Disciple Yu Yian greets the elders. Kia. Simultaneously, an incomprehensible ghostly wail blasts from deep within the shrine. Overwhelmed by the immense ghostly shrieking and energy, the corpse-like man is completely frozen, the bald, tattooed man adjusts his posture with proper decorum, and the woman in mourning clothes, seemingly cured of her madness, shrinks back in shock. Heo Nam Quan hides behind me, shivering. Yet, I just stand there smiling wryly. Everyone is getting excited. What a debacle this is. The intent flowing from deep within the shrine is filled with joy at welcoming new disciples. Sure enough, Yu Yian explains that the elders inside the shrine, the ghost kings of the Black Ghost Valley, are welcoming us. We stand in front of the shrine where the ghostly wail resounds, bow according to Yu Yian's guidance, and quickly complete the entrance ceremony of Black Ghost Valley. The entrance ceremony is now concluded. You are now honorable Yin Soul disciples of the Black Ghost Valley. Yu Yian claps his hands and congratulates us. The bald tattooed man wipes the cold sweat from his head and replies. Is that so? Thank you. It seems he wants to leave the inner shrine as soon as possible. However, contrary to his expectation, Yu Yian smiles and appears about to say something else. That is when, has the entrance ceremony concluded? Wo Wang. As the space splits, Heo Gwak, the white bone ghost devil, enters the shrine. With an ambiguous appearance that makes it unclear whether he is male or female, he smiles faintly as he surveys us, then slightly squints his eyes when he sees Heo Nam Quan. Then, when his gaze reaches me, it immediately brightens. Well, it seems you all have entered properly. You know about me, right? I am the highest Grand Elder of the Bright Cold Realm's Black Ghost Valley branch, Black Grand Elder White Bone Ghost Devil, Heo Gwak. We bow, showing respect and proper etiquette. Normally, it's customary to assign a master to disciples below Ghost Soul, but for nascent Soul Stage Yin Soul disciples, we use a slightly different approach. You will now choose the Ghost King you will serve and pay homage to from this point forward. Pardon. Already pale from the ghostly energy of the Ghost Kings, the bald tattooed man turns even whiter as he asks again. Heo Gwak grins and continues. Traditionally in Black Ghost Valley, each person chooses a companion, known as a Ghost Path Companion. Unlike typical Dao companions, the purpose here is not yin-yang dual cultivation but to practice ghost path methods. Therefore, regardless of gender, everyone carries at least one ghost soul with them. However, you, having just entered as nascent soul stage yin soul disciples, are not suitable for ordinary ghost souls as your souls won't properly adapt to the ghost path. The bald tattooed man looks like he might faint at Heo Guok's explanation. Thus, until you choose a ghost path companion, you will house one of the ghost kings within your nascent soul to help your soul get accustomed to the ghostly energy. The bald tattooed man's appearance looks like one half of his soul flew away. However, the corpse-like man and the woman in mourning clothes seem rather pleased with this, while Heo Nam Quan looks slightly annoyed. Elder, do I also have to? Interrupting Heo Nam Quan, Heo Gwak waves his hand dismissively. It's procedure. You're no exception. Yes. Then, everyone, walk towards the spirit tablets in the shrine. We all walk towards the endlessly lined spirit tablets. That's when it happens. Pot. The scene suddenly changes. I find myself separated from the group, surrounded by a countless number of graveyards under a pitch-black night sky. Each grave is neatly marked with a tombstone. Soon after, under the dark sky, Heo Guok's voice echoes from the void. The place you have entered is Black Ghost Valley's Grand Tomb Domain, accessible only through the Nether Crossing ship's inner shrine or by special means. The souls of countless ancestors have become ghost kings and reside there. Wander around, and if a ghost king takes a liking to you, entrust your body to them. The type of ghost path method you learn will depend on the ghost king who chooses you, so be sure to present yourselves well. With that, Heo Guok's voice cuts off, and I wait momentarily before looking around. However much I look around, I see no signs of ghost kings. Is anyone there? I wander through the Grand Tomb Domain, searching among the tombstones. But I see neither ghost kings nor even a mere minor ghost. Where are the ghost kings supposed to be? In a different space within the Black Ghost Valley's Grand Tomb Domain. Heo Nam Quan, the bald tattooed man, the corpse-like man, and the woman in mourning dress. Except for Seo Li, all of them are experiencing the same scene. Surrounded by the wildly shrieking ghostly wails of ghost kings, they collapse to the ground, vomiting blood. Kia, Kua, what in the world? As a descendant of the Heo clan, Heo Nam Quan, who naturally has a high affinity for ghost souls, looks up at the sky vomiting a handful of blood. The ghost souls that usually approached him with friendly gestures are now all radiating with madness. It's a great ghost. A great ghost has entered the Grand Tomb Domain. Run, we have to run, we'll be eaten. The woman in white mourning dress is running around crying, trying to escape the ghost kings, and the corpse-like man screams and runs around so much that his face regains some color. The bald tattooed man, clutching his heart, collapses from the ghostly wails, vomiting blood. Meanwhile Heo Gwak, standing with his hands behind his back outside the shrine, strokes his chin. Clunk, clunk, clunk. The spirit tablets are shaking. The spirit tablets connected to the Grand Tomb Domain, as it turns out, are physically impossible for middle boundary cultivators to enter with their bodies. Heo Gwak just laughs heartily, assuming the elders inside are just playing with the new disciples. Seeing such a strong reaction from the ancestors, it seems this batch of disciples are exceptionally talented. Yin, I'm going to leave now, but once the Yin Soul disciples have made their choices in the Grand Tomb Domain, guide them to the method repository. Yes, Grand Elder. Heo Gwak chuckles again at the rattling spirit tablets as he leaves the shrine. Chapter 288. My name is 5. Chapter 288. My name is 5. I wandered around the Great Tomb Domain for quite a while. The tombstones in the Great Tomb Domain seem endless. No matter how much I walk or even fly around, the end is nowhere in sight. Well, that's not really a problem. The real issue is that the ghost kings Heo Gwak had mentioned are nowhere to be seen, not even the slightest hint of them. Where do I have to go to find these ghost kings? Whether I leave this place or not, the first step should be to meet these ghost kings. What a mysterious space, I think to myself as I look across the never-ending plains of tombstones. There can't possibly be no end to this. Even if there are plains this large in the bright cold realm, there should have been some changes as I kept moving. At the very least, there should have been changes in the heaven and earth spiritual energy, but this mysterious space stretched on endlessly without any such variations. And, I feel a sense of déjà vu. Looking at this Great Tomb Domain, I feel a strange familiarity. At first, I didn't realize it, but as I continued to look around, it started to feel like I had been here before. I pause my walk and concentrate on my nascent soul. That's when it happens. I realize something is off. Wait, this is Wo Wang. I spread my fingers and move the devilish energy within me. As the energy flows from my fingertips, it forms a mirror-like shape in front of me. And looking at the mirror, I can't help but be startled. My face. At some point, my face had changed from Yuan Yu's to my original, Xiao Unyun's. And it isn't just that. Even my clothing had changed from Yuan Yu's blood-colored robe to the usual clothes I wear. If there is a difference, it's the color of the robe. The robe turned completely black. When did my appearance change? No, more importantly, if I change like this, could my identity be revealed? No, that's not it. I observe myself and realize why I had suddenly reverted to my original appearance. Yes, this great tomb domain reflects the soul's form unknowingly. Even if I use the name Xiao Li, I am ultimately Xiao Unyun, so it changed back to my original appearance at some point. I assume that once I leave the great tomb domain, I will return back to the form of Xiao Li. But there's something strange. I look at my black robe. Why has the robe turned black? And somehow, I know the answer myself. Death. My appearance changing in this great tomb domain is related to death. Perhaps those who came wearing colors other than white also had their clothing transformed into black. Suddenly, the word, death, seems to give me a clue as to why I can't see the Ghost Kings. Back when I found the Nether Crossing ship with Xiao Ran, the minor ghosts living near the Nether Crossing ship called me a great ghost. Perhaps, the death accumulated around me has become even stronger than before, causing something to happen. For instance, it's not that I can't see the Ghost Kings. They might have sensed my energy and all fled somewhere. That seems quite plausible. Then, there is only one thing to do. I sit cross-legged and take a deep breath. If the Ghost Kings are fleeing from me, making them invisible to me, I just need to chase them faster than they can flee. Up until now, considering this great tomb domain as a sort of sacred place for Black Ghost Valley, I had been walking slowly or flying without using the flying escape technique. But it seems I've been too polite. These damned creatures, they don't even greet their guests properly. Using the pure spiritual force within me, I begin to generate gang spheres around me. They dare ignore me and run away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. And then, 10, 11, 12. The gang spheres around me continue to increase. In the world of intent, the number of my avatars gradually increases. At the ultimate pinnacle, the maximum limit is 9 gang spheres. At entering heavens, they melt into the formless sword, and the gang spheres disappear. At treading heavens, I become one with my inner core and accelerate with up to 10 gang spheres. Of course, during treading heavens, just accelerating with the formless sword alone exceeds the efficiency of tenfold acceleration, so I felt no need to create more gang spheres. Now, at tribulating heavens, I feel that the number of gang spheres I can create has been squared. As the heart within the formless sword awoke, 10 from the formless sword, 10 from myself, and as the formless sword and I intertwine, the spirit amplifies, and 10 is multiplied by 10. That is, I can create 100 gang spheres. 100 avatars of intent appear around me. Combine. Pababababit. As the 100 avatars of intent fly toward me, the world begins to slow down. Yuan Yu's body is not seasoned enough to wield the full power of the formless sword. But simply accelerating with gang spheres poses no problem. Flash. Accelerated by a factor of 100, I use the flying escape technique and begin to fly madly towards a certain location. Kugugugu. The speed surpasses the heavenly being stage and reaches the early level of the 4-axis stage. How long have I flown like this? I smile as I spot the rippling waves of intent in the distance. As expected, I found them. Indeed, it wasn't that the Ghost Kings were invisible. They just sensed my energy and were fleeing. The intents that are increasingly growing in terror are getting closer. And then, I feel the terrible screaming of the Ghost Valley. Ah, the great ghost has come. Run away, run away. Flash. I quickly rush towards one of them. As I charge at one who appears about mid-heavenly being stage, I increase the plane of my hand to be able to grasp the soul. After seizing the creature, the mid-heavenly being Ghost King begins to scream terribly. Hia, huua, ka, hi, hia, quote. Looking at this trembling creature in fear, I ponder what to do. White Orchid Blessing Incantation is the best for calming the mind. The White Orchid Blessing incantation is ideal for restoring the spirit of this terrified creature. However, I can't shake the ominous feeling that using the White Orchid Blessing incantation would dissolve this Ghost King entirely. Maybe just a little. Wo Wang. I conjure a tiny White Orchid Blessing incantation and blow it into him. Then, I'm forced to hear an even more terrible wailing than before. I'm dying. Ah, he-ah, quote. Apparently, the White Orchid Blessing incantation, having anti-devilish properties, is fatal when infused into a Ghost King filled with ghostly energy. What should I do with this damn thing? Thinking for a while, I activate the Yin Soul Ghost incantation. Koo-goo-goo-goo. A dense aura of curses rises around me. If I infuse him with this, he'll writhe in pain. Simply injecting the Yin Soul Ghost incantation, which has the opposite nature of anti-devilish energy, is not an option. The essence of Yin Soul Ghost incantation is pain, and regardless of whether it suits the ghost or not, this creature would be overwhelmed by agony. After pondering for a moment, I transform the Yin Soul Ghost incantation into spiritual power and infuse the Ghost King with the Yin spiritual power. At the same time, I begin to cultivate the Ghost King's mind by manipulating the Yin spiritual power in the manner of the White Orchid Blessing incantation. TSTSTSTST. After a while, the Ghost King, who had been screaming terribly, gradually reduces his wails and smacks his lips. Are you all right? You seem off. It seems that because cultivating the mind with the power of Yin is new to me, it resulted in some strange effects. Rather than cultivating the mind, it feels like I've hypnotized him. Can you please say something? Something. Damn. As I mutter a curse under my breath, the Ghost King suddenly begins to cry profusely. I'm sorry, so sorry. I've been rude, so rude to the noble one, so sorry. Stop crying. What's going on? I ask, trying to get some coherent speech from the Ghost King whose eyes have regained some clarity. The Ghost King replies to my question. Noble one, what do you ask of me? Why does everyone run away when they see me? Be because you are the noble one. Please, do not take us as to the netherworld. Did you also stutter like this in life? Frustrated by the Ghost King's trembling and stuttering speech, I ask him directly. The Ghost King shakes his head with tears in his eyes. And no, it wasn't like this. When lesser ghosts like us meet a great ghost such as yourself, we mostly lose our reason. You lose your reason? Yes, it is true. As I inject more Yin spiritual power and surround his soul, he begins to speak more clearly. It's the essence of the ghost path method. The more ghostly energy one accumulates and the clearer one perceives the netherworld, the stronger a ghost one becomes. And the stronger the ghost, the easier it is to command lesser ghosts. When a strong ghost is near, weaker ghosts lose their intellect, their reason blurs, and only their instincts remain, forcing them to either submit or flee. Finally, I understand why even the Ghost Kings, all at least of nascent soul stage, failed to keep their composure upon seeing me and fled in a complete panic. Wait a minute, I once met a lingering soul of a grand elder from Black Ghost Valley named Song Jin. However, he did not have any mental issues upon seeing me. As I speak, I realize that when I met Song Jin, I was not as marked by death as I am now. If the lingering soul of the Black Ghost Valley's Grand Elder was fine upon seeing the Noble One, it could be one of two things. Now the Ghost King seems completely hypnotized, speaking in a dazed voice as if intoxicated by the Yin Soul Ghost incantation I had melted into spiritual power. Though called a lingering soul, it was either a living being split soul or connected to the Nether Crossing ship. Was it because of the Nether Crossing ship? The Nether Crossing ship seems to have quite a few functions beyond just spatial transmission. I ask the Ghost King while looking at him. So, everyone runs away because they see me as a great ghost. Correct. Is the Noble One not perhaps a Rakshasa or a Yaksha, maybe even an Asura or a Yama from the Netherworld? Has a death god from the Netherworld themselves descended upon Black Ghost Valley? No, I'm not one of those. What do you mean? Please do not regard us Ghost Kings as mere lowly spirits. While we may not understand the essence of death as the immortal seats Xian Zuo do, we are still souls who have walked the path of cultivation and have perceived the netherworld. It seems that, Ghost King, is a term indicating a ghost soul that can perceive the netherworld, regardless of their level. You misunderstand. I have just entered Black Ghost Valley as a disciple, and I am a living being, not a great ghost. If you are not someone who has attracted the gaze of the god of the netherworld from the deepest depths of the afterlife, you could not possibly possess such a great death around you. You jest that you can do this in a living body. The noble one must be one of the high-ranking death gods who serve the god of the netherworld. Please do not chastise us too harshly for not following our prescribed fates to the netherworld and are still pathetically remaining in this earthly realm. We are merely building great mausoleums and arks Fang Zhou for our descendants and waiting for the natural cycle of the heavens. Even under the influence of the yin spiritual power, he seems overwhelmed by my presence and begins to reveal things he hadn't been asked about. Even though that madman destroyed all 12 nether crossing ships of the Bright Cold Realm Division 120,000 years ago, we have brought the nether crossing ships from the head realm, so collecting souls from the middle realm at the end of times will not be a problem. The great immortals of the netherworld must also find it convenient to just leave us be. Please do not destroy Black Ghost Valley. The Ghost King, mistaking me for a death god that came to punish Black Ghost Valley for defying death, begins sobbing and begging for forgiveness for Black Ghost Valley. Not knowing what else to do, I release the crying Ghost King. It seems true that ghosts lose their reasoning when meeting a higher level ghost. As soon as he is freed from my yin spiritual power, he seems to forget the conversation we just had and begins to rave. Hiya, it's a great ghost. A great ghost. Hayek. Just like that, the one who spoke as such quickly flees to somewhere in the great tomb domain and I grab my throbbing head. Damn, it's chaos everywhere. I furrow my brows at the sudden developments on my main body's side. Quote. What is this? I had just secured a cave residence in Heavenly Human Island and sent a message to Jaeon Myung-hoon to come here, when I received a letter that made me furrow my brows. Wee Ryong-son, who delivered the letter to me, clicks his tongue and says. First, it's a letter sent by someone called the Ark-controlling envoy of the True Dragon Alliance from the Earth Tribe. Quote. Why would that person send this to me? Well, I wouldn't know. Think hard about any grudges you might have incited. I sigh as I receive the death threat letter in front of me. The letter is filled with a grudge as thick as the dragon's blood it was written in. The handwriting alone is enough to give one chills. That damn Co Whale. It seems he had somehow communicated who had killed him to Gu Ryan. I will kill you as soon as possible. Wait for it. Quote. This is driving me insane. I grab my head as I read the letter from Gu Ryan. Chapter 289. My name is 6. To send a letter like this to Senior Wee implies. Yes, she knows that you've been appointed as a grand cultivator of the human race. Moreover, this information comes from spies we have among the Earth Tribe. Wee Ryong-son begins to explain as he takes a jade slip out of a storage scroll. Recently, there's information that a Dragon King has emerged from the dragon race. They're keeping it quiet for now to use at a critical moment, but it's likely that Gu Ryan, who's become the Dragon King, is challenging you now that you've also become a grand cultivator. Considering that the Ark-controlling envoy Gu Ryan achieved the grand perfection 4-axis stage at just 10,000 years old, she certainly has the qualifications. Gu Ryan is the Dragon King. I recall her from a previous life. Even without fully being at the integration stage, the power of the beams she emitted from her mouth was quite immense. Right, it was just to that extent. I think I can handle her. It would be somewhat frightening if it was Co Whale who reached the integration stage with a genuine orthodox Axis foundation, but Gu Ryan. Not scary. I'm sorry to Gu Ryan, but purely from a combat perspective, she's about the same or slightly below Wee Ryong-son. Wee Ryong-son, after all, was originally not trained in combat-focused methods and is arguably one of the weakest integration stage cultivators within the human race Grand Alliance. Compared to such weakest, she isn't very strong in her current state. Of course, as part of the dragon race, if she stabilizes her cultivation and gains experience after reaching the early integration stage, who knows? But in her current state, she isn't frightening at all. And what puzzles me most is that she herself must know this. Sending me the letter means she knows I'm a grand cultivator, and that means she must have heard about what I've been doing since I entered Heavenly Human Island these past few weeks, doesn't it? That's right. It's likely that the dragon race has also heard all the commotion through the moles they've planted among the human race. They know all about your combat power and potential. My noisy deeds have already spread far and wide among the Heaven tribe. I grinded the Heaven-Earth Palace inspectors into dust, killed Co Whale in one strike, and faced Wee Ryong-son directly within his domain and defeated him. The Earth tribe, 2. Must have passed along such information through their spies within the Heaven tribe, and yet they still threaten me. What could be the reason? Because of Co Whale. If it involves Co Whale, it's perfectly probable for her to go crazy. If it's not Co Whale. In my past life, she gave me a chance to explain and argue my motives despite openly betraying her, showing her rational side. If Co Whale did something and conveyed it to her, Ryan would have flipped. Then, this incident must be a move by Co Whale. I'm getting a headache from the complicated situation. Is Co Whale alive or dead? I dispersed his soul and scattered the heavenly circle and earthly bearings to ensure his death. Seeing Ryan enraged by Co Whale's death confirms he is indeed dead. But it's too coincidental. What if Ryan goes berserk and charges at me, and I end up killing her? Assuming Co Whale is alive, he'd want to shake her off, and that would achieve what he wants. Co Whale is definitely dead. I severed his soul pathway and completely blocked even the attempt to resurrect. Yet hearing about Ryan, the illusion of Co Whale making a move with his damn smile passes before my eyes. Single quote. Snake-like bastard. Although I hate to imagine it, I decide to assume that Co Whale is not dead. If he is alive, what would benefit him, and what would harm him? Benefiting him would be killing Ryan. Then what would harm him? Quote. Thank you for delivering the letter, Senior Wee. I'll handle Ryan later. If it feels too dangerous, quickly pull back. You are the future of the human race. The Grand Alliance leader is pouring resources into making sure you reach the 4-axis stage, so if there's something you want to do, just let us know. Quote. Yes, I understand. I am currently at the Human Race Grand Alliance's Heavenly Human Island. I am being protected at a cave residence within Heavenly Cauldron Mountain. Lately, integration stage grand cultivators have been frequenting my cave residence every day, imparting the intricacies and enlightenment of the 4-axis stage, urging me to reach it soon, and gifting me with all sorts of spiritual liquid, spiritual pills, and spiritual fruits as they leave. 4-axis stage. Having just risen from grand perfection nascent soul to grand perfection heavenly being, it isn't just a dream to rise to the 4-axis stage once I am fully prepared. Everyone is curious about how strong I will become once I reach the 4-axis stage, given that I am already producing integration level power at the heavenly being stage. Among them, the Grand Alliance leader Junja is searching for a special type of spiritual liquid called Clear Peace Tears, Ching and Lei, to help with the promotion from heavenly being to 4-axis. If I reach the 4-axis stage, even Hun-1 won't be so terrifying. Of course, considering Hun-1's power, it won't be easy even at the 4-axis stage, but at least I won't die helplessly like last time. I watch Wei Ryong-son leaving my cave residence and smile bitterly. Talking about spies this and spies that, it seems I'm really becoming one. Though I'm grateful for the Grand Cultivators' intentions to help me reach the 4-axis stage, I have to move to counteract Co Whale's plans. The most damaging action to Co Whale will probably be bringing in the Mad Lord. I immediately set a goal. I'll summon Yun Sok to the Bright Cold Realm as soon as possible, end the Human Devil Great War, ensure that Azure Tiger Saint doesn't die, and then go look for Kim Yeon. Kidnapping Kim Yeon and tipping off the Mad Lord that Co Whale is preparing for a marriage and that he should head to the True Dragon Alliance would make him ecstatic. The Black Dragon King Hyeon wouldn't dare intervene in the Human Devil Great War if that madman starts bombing the headquarters of the True Dragon Alliance. It's uncertain whether Co Whale is truly dead or not. But having died a gruesome death by my hand once and having mobilized Ryan using his death as an excuse, Co Whale can't openly move as long as Ryan is alive. Then, during the time Co Whale can't act openly, I have a lot of things I can do. In this life, while Co Whale can't come to the forefront, I set another goal. Considering Kim Young-hoon is in the Ancient Force realm, there's nothing I can do about that. Oh hi Co is, probably doing well on her own, not my concern. Excluding those two, Jaeon Myung-hoon, Kong Min-hee, Oh Yun Sok, Kim Yeon, I will try to arrange for these 4 colleagues to meet once again. That is the new goal. Jaeon Myung-hoon is easy since he's with the original body. Oh Yun Sok can be met once the Human Devil Great War is resolved, and Kim Yeon can be seen again if kidnapped from the Mad Lord. That leaves Kong Min-hee. This makes Co Lee's role important. I sigh while receiving the emotions of my original body deep within the Grand Tomb domain of Black Ghost Valley. Damn it, whether it's Kong Min-hee or whatever, don't I need to accept a Ghost King to do something? These Ghost Kings, always running away, just make me sigh continuously. What should I do? As I ponder, suddenly, my thoughts reach the Yin Soul Ghost incantation. Thinking about it, when I covered the Ghost King with the Yin Soul Ghost incantation, didn't it seem like the Ghost King couldn't feel its fear towards me as if it was hypnotized? Then, if I cover my body with the Yin Soul Ghost incantation, would the sense of death the Ghost Kings feel lighten a bit? I have to test it right away. TSTSSTs. I unleash countless curse spells, covering my entire body in pain. SSSSSSs. My whole body is enveloped in dark curses. Despite the tingling pain, I realize something has changed in the atmosphere of the Grand Tomb domain. It worked. As expected, it was resolved with a fairly simple method. Kugugugu. The Grand Tomb domain trembles, and from afar, countless Ghost Kings surge like a wave. Damn it, why did I leave my tomb and go to another area? Did you do that too, Hung Nim? Seems like everyone did. Maybe we were all bewitched by something. It's something even a ghost would lament. I can't remember what happened at all. Unlike earlier, when they were screaming in utter panic, the Ghost Kings now return in a much more rational state, flying around. And it's when the Ghost Kings approach above me. Huh, are you a disciple of the Black Ghost Valley? I reply to them politely. I am the new Yin Soul disciple Seo Li. I greet the elders of Black Ghost Valley. My voice, covered in curse spells, resounds deeply and vibrates through the space. At this sight, the surrounding Ghost Kings are noticeably startled. Wait, that thing covering your body. Are those curses? Impossible. How can a single person create curses so dense that not even water could leak through? Isn't that amount of curses only possible with a great formation? What sorcery have you used? Is it a marvel even to the Ghost Kings of the Grand Tomb domain? Apparently, spewing out as many curse spells as the sea with the Yin Soul Ghost incantation isn't an easy feat. It's when numerous Ghost Kings are murmuring around me. What kind of sorcery is this? Did you not hear me ask? One Ghost King looks down at me angrily and shouts. I look back at him, making eye contact with one of the Ghost Kings at the level of the Heavenly Being stage. This is the Yin Soul Ghost incantation of the Black Ghost Valley. What? Then that Ghost King shouts even more furiously. How dare you lie to a respected figure of the sect? Stop talking nonsense. Speak the truth. Have you not utilized a special Dharma treasure, or are you connected to some curse-forming formation outside the Grand Tomb domain? The Ghost King glares at me, his eyes rolling back, and I lift the curse in my hand and say. If you doubt it, why don't you take a look? The curse spell created by this junior is indeed the Yin Soul Ghost incantation. Continuing to lie to the end. The Ghost King shivers with rage as he approaches me, and then looks at the Yin Soul Ghost incantation. How long has he stared at the Yin Soul Ghost incantation? It can't be, don't lie. The Ghost King speaks, his voice trembling. The Yin Soul Ghost incantation, it ends at 108. It was designed to end with 108. Feeling the peculiarity of his tone, I ask. How can you so readily judge the limits of a method? I, this disciple, have a slight talent for curses, so I just made a few more curse spells. Are you saying you really modified the Yin Soul Ghost incantation like that? Not a modification per se. Shut up. Don't make me laugh. What was all the effort of our faction for then? You, continuing to lie to a respected figure of the sect, deserve to be punished without a word. The Ghost King suddenly bursts in fury and stretches out a dark ghost claw, grabbing my body forcefully. I flinch in surprise and try to push him away. Wait, Elder, you shouldn't touch there. Quiet, you scoundrel, for insulting me and my lineage. No, wait, but he relentlessly scratches off the curse spells covering my body with his ghost claw, and finally, the curses covering my body are peeled off. Damn it. At the same time, my soul reappears in the Grand Tomb domain. And then, kyak, hiak, the ghosts begin to go mad again. It's a great ghost. We're going to be eaten. Run away, hiak. Dozens, perhaps hundreds of Ghost Kings flee all at once, and the Ghost King who had been tearing apart my curses also loses his mind and begins to rave madly before fleeing. Crack. Feeling the veins on my forehead pop, I reach out towards the Ghost King who caused his mess. Kuurururu. A wave of black curse spells transform into a giant hand and grab the Ghost King. Kyak. Having not kindly transformed the Yin Soul Ghost incantation into Yin spiritual power, the Ghost King screams in pain. Yet, even while screaming in pain, his fear of me seems to dilute, and he begins to utter other words that are not ghostly shrieks. Kyak, kayak, hayak, oh, great one. Have you evolved the humble secret art of our lineage? The death god of the netherworld has lifted the possibilities of our humble secret art, the Yin Soul Ghost Incantation. Words cannot express the joy I feel. Please allow me to repay this grace. Listening to him, I can discern what type of ghost king he is. I will serve you. I will devote myself to you. I return Gui Yi to thee, my lord. Please take me in as your servant. Intoxicated by the Yin Soul Ghost Incantation I created, he staggers forward with his eyes glazed over, moving his dark ghostly body, clasping his hands together and kneeling down. I return to thee. I return to thee. I return to thee. You, I ask the Ghost King with a scoff. Could it be, are you the originator of the Yin Soul Ghost Incantation? The Yin Soul Ghost Incantation is the starting point of the curse method developed by our lineage. It is a chi building method, created by our ancestor who passed away at the Grand Perfection chi building stage. My grandfather received it and then made it into a core formation curse method, my father adapted it into a nascent soul stage curse method, and in my generation, I finally succeeded in creating a separate heavenly being stage curse method. Indeed, he is a ghost soul from a lineage within the Black Ghost Valley that specialized in researching curse methods. The Yin Soul Ghost Incantation handles 108 curse spells. The Core Formation method handles 500 curse spells, the Nascent Soul method handles 1080 curse spells, and the Heavenly Being method handles 3000 curse spells. But, I have never heard or seen such a vast number of curse spells that the Noble One can handle. Surely it must be a divine technique possible only for a distinguished noble of the netherworld. He bows even deeper to me, shedding icy tears as he pleads. Please take in this lowly servant. Allow me to return to thee. I shall serve you. Eventually, I decide to accept this Ghost King who earnestly requests to serve me. Have you all decided on which Ghost Kings you will serve from now on? Excluding myself, the bald tattooed man, the corpse-like man, the woman in mourning clothes, and Heo Nam Quan all nod with pale faces. Looking closely, dark energy is embedded within them. It seems they had all decided to serve at least Ghost Kings of the Heavenly Being stage. Yu Yian looks at me, who didn't nod, and asks. How about you, Sir Seo? I also nod awkwardly. Well, I decided for now, it isn't me serving, but rather that I had chosen a Ghost King who will serve me. Anyway, the decision was made. Within my golden core, I sense the Ghost King sitting demurely next to my nascent soul. Hey, Bai Yul Bei Yu. Yes, my lord, did you call me? Why is it that everyone was causing such a fuss inside the Grand Tomb domain, but it's quiet inside the shrine? It is because the flesh roux that you, my lord, are wearing conceals your true essence. In the Grand Tomb domain, the essence of the soul is revealed, so everyone was granted the grace to see my lord's true essence, but outside the Grand Tomb domain, one cannot recklessly see the essence. The Ghost King who came to serve me is named by Yul. After swearing allegiance to me, he settled in my golden core and continuously received the spiritual power of the Yin Soul Ghost Incantation. While half regaining his senses, Bai Yul swore to wholeheartedly support and assist me. Now that it seems everyone has chosen a Ghost King to serve, I will guide you to the method repository. We follow Yu Yian out of the shrine and move to another space within the nether crossing ship. After a while, we are able to stand in front of a library marked, Nether Crossing Repository. Sir Repository Keeper, I am Yu Yian, the disciple of Entry Hall's Baek Jin. Please allow us entry. Then a voice comes from inside the repository. Yu Yian and the 10 with you may enter. It seems that the voice includes even the Ghost Kings within us. We enter the repository and are able to see the face of the repository keeper. And, upon seeing him, I'm startled. Song Jin. He greatly resembles Song Jin, showing his appearance during his lifetime. Welcome, I am Song Gil, the repository keeper of Black Ghost Valley. In this valley, it is customary for masters to be assigned to disciples below the level of Ghost Soul, and the masters recommend methods to their disciples. However, Yin Soul disciples and onwards are given the opportunity to choose their own methods. Everyone, wander around the repository and choose one method each. You will be given 1 meal time as the limit. I pause to look at Song Gil's face, then start walking deeper into the method repository. He must be Song Jin's brother. I consider acknowledging him, but then I decide against it. After all, Song Jin is doing well in the ancient force realm with Seo Ran, so there's no real need to mention it. My lord, may I recommend a method that would be suitable for you? I ponder Bai Yul's words for a moment and then nod. After all, he would know the methods of Black Ghost Valley better. Yes, then please follow me to the locations I describe. I will recommend methods that my lord is likely to favor. After a while, I end up selecting 7 volumes of methods recommended by Yul. The methods are as follows. Silver Basket Devil Technique, Yin Lan Mo Gong. Purple Yang Mad Devilish Art, Ziyang Quang Mo Gong. Corpse Devouring Secret Ritual Tome, Shi Shi Mi Li Ben. Serene Soul True Secrets, and Hun Zhen Wei. Yama Secret Inheritance Will, Yan Mo Mi Chuan Yi. Expending Soul True Devil Method, Fei Hun Zhen Mo Gong. Ghost Immortal Kui Devil Secrets, Gui Xian Kui Mo Wei. Whichever method you choose from these, it will be the most fitting for my lord. Please enjoy selecting one. Chapter 290. My name is 7. Chapter 290. My name is 7. TSTSTSTSTs. I accelerate my consciousness, linking by Yul through the wonderfully mysterious innate heart canon to draw him into my accelerated mental world. Explain the methods. Yul begins to explain the methods one by one. The Silver Basket Devil Technique is an ancient devilish art from the primeval era, its origin so ancient it's untraceable. It is said if mastered, one can even manifest the domain of the integration stage at the heavenly being stage. However, its origins are unknown, and it is said that it is connected to some ancient being. Rejected. I interrupt Yul and erase the Silver Basket Devil Technique from my mind. Connected to an ancient being and origins unknown. It's highly likely to be connected to true immortals like the Mount Tai Splitting Emperor Technique or the Red Lightning Heavenly Tribulation Method. The Mount Tai Splitting Emperor Technique is something I intend to obtain, not to learn, but to interpret the writings I acquired in the head realm, and I have no plans to directly connect with a suspicious entity. Yes. Next, the Purple Yang Mad Devilish Art is particularly outstanding in offensive power. It allows for much faster cultivation, speeding up the advancement of cultivation by tens of times, and possesses strong Yang force, making it a natural predator to Yin-based methods and even reducing the damage from other Yang-based attacks. This sounds quite appealing, especially since there's no mention of sacrificing anyone, and particularly because the cultivation speed is tens of times faster, which is a significant advantage for someone ordinary like me. However, there is a very, very minor side effect. What is it? First, the strong emergence of Yang force in the method causes the skin to turn purple. So that's why it's called Purple Yang. Yes, that's correct. And secondly, there's another side effect. Changing skin color is not a big deal. Having purple skin might look bizarre at first, but there are many ways to handle it. The Purple Yang Mad Devilish Art stimulates the upper dantian, causing hair loss. The creator added a ritualistic meaning to this. Having hair actually weakens the effectiveness of the method. In other words, you become bald. Purple skin and being bald. Thinking it over, I feel I can endure that far. And third, you're saying there's another side effect. Since it is a Yang cultivating method, it causes an extreme surge of sexual desire due to the extreme Yang nature boiling within the body. Single quote. I sigh silently. If sexual desire boils over, dealing with people like Zhengli could become troublesome. With my willpower, I can withstand the lust. However, if an enemy like Zhengli starts to amplify sexual desires on purpose, it will be difficult to resist. It can't be helped, if I can endure it somehow, even if it means castrating myself. The fourth side effect. I glance at Yul as he continues with the side effects. Was this method recommended because it has so many side effects? The Purple Yang Mad Devilish Art is a celibate practice. If any form of essence Jing is expelled, you will lose all your spiritual power and become crippled. In short, purple skin and head turning bald regardless of what one does. With boiling sexual desire, yet if you expel essence, you become crippled because it's a celibate method. Thus, it is said that those who practice the Purple Yang Mad Devilish Art gradually turn mad due to unexpelled sexual desire and become mad devils. Quang Mo. Single quote. Why would you recommend this to me? Because the Noble One is a distinguished being from the netherworld, and it is impossible for someone of the Noble One's stature to be dominated by mere sexual desire. I sigh inwardly, unseen by Yul. If I truly was an incarnation of a death god from the netherworld, there'd be nothing to worry about, but I still can't maintain my sanity around Zhengli without castrating myself. And even if I do castrate myself, since lust and spiritual power are related in the Purple Yang Mad Devilish Art, casually removing parts could lead to a significant loss of spiritual power. I reject it. Yes, understood. Next is the Corpse Devouring Secret Ritual Tome. Just hearing the title, Corpse Devouring, makes me frown. Is this, by chance, a method involving eating corpses? Yes, that is correct. Rejected. Ah, but it's really a powerful devilish art. Enough. Next. Understood. Then, the Serene Soul True Secrets is an evolved method deriving from the two basic cultivation methods of Black Ghost Valley, the Ghost Guiding True Scripture Gui Dao Zhen Jing and the Pacifying Soul Art and Hun Gong. My lord is aware that the basis of the ghost path includes consoling the spirits Wei Ling and pacifying the soul and Hun, right? Well, I know that much, but I want to understand your perspective, so explain. It's an honor. Dealing with ghosts essentially involves a kind of contract. The core basis of controlling ghost souls is the promise to help them move on to the netherworld. While the Pacifying Soul Art performs rituals to show the ghost souls the way to the netherworld, the Serene Soul True Secrets go further by offering rituals that comfort the soul's pain and emotions. As I listen to the explanation, I realize something. Serene Soul True Secrets is not a devilish art. Yes, it is solely for deeper communion with ghosts, a kind of consciousness method. I like the fact that it isn't a devilish art. However, in terms of utility, Serene Soul True Secrets is an inferior substitute for the wonderfully mysterious Innate Heart Canon. It might be slightly better than the wonderfully mysterious Innate Heart Canon in terms of communion with ghosts, but it's completely inferior in other aspects. Since controlling ghosts is sufficiently managed with just the Yin Soul Ghost incantation as it is now, there's no real need for more. It's a method redundant like a chicken rib, so I feel no need to learn it. Rejected. Next is the Yama Hidden Inheritance Will. It's a devilish art that calls upon the power of Yama, one of the judges and death gods of the netherworld. Rejected. Next is the Expending Soul True Devil Method. It absorbs wandering souls into the body, leaving only the minimal soul necessary for sending them back to the netherworld while consuming the soul essence for tremendous power. Rejected. As I reject every method suggested, Bai Yul seems to shrink back, lacking confidence as he reluctantly offers the last recommended devilish art. The last is the Ghost Immortal Kui Devilish Secrets. It is a method where one gathers ghostly energy, causing their nascent soul to undergo Ghost King transformation, Gui Wanghua, slowly refining oneself into a ghostly being, Gui Wu. As I listen to the details of the Ghost Immortal Kui Devilish Secrets, I frown. Isn't Ghost Immortal Kui Devilish Secrets also a method that grows stronger by consuming soul essence? While it does absorb some of the soul essence, unlike the Expending Soul True Devil method, which consumes the soul essence itself, this method primarily absorbs the death energy accumulated around the soul essence. In other words, since my lord is already surrounded by the energy of death, there's no need to consume soul essence directly. There is just the very minor side effect of being somewhat more difficult, but for my lord from the netherworld, that shouldn't be a concern. Interesting. Then, it can be considered more of a regular cultivation method than a devilish art. I realize that of all the recommended methods, Ghost Immortal Kui Devilish Secrets is the most appealing to me. In addition, it's a method that can reach the 4-axis stage. I release the acceleration of my consciousness and pick up the scripture for Ghost Immortal Kui Devilish Secrets that Bai Yul recommended. I then head to find the repository keeper Song Gil and hand him the scripture. I will go with this. Ghost Immortal Kui Devilish Secrets. Song Gil looks puzzled. Is there a problem? Ghost Immortal Kui Devilish Secrets. Due to its extreme difficulty, it is a method that is discouraged. Certainly, it boasts powerful effects if mastered, but it's not highly recommended. That's fine. Please give it to me. Well, do as you like. However, once you've chosen Ghost Immortal Kui Devilish Secrets, the method cannot be changed and you'll need to accumulate over 100 points of merit in Black Ghost Valley to re-enter the depository next time. Do you understand? I'll keep that in mind. After selecting our methods, we leave the library. Yu Bian is waiting for us, and once we are all outside, he begins to explain. Now that everyone is here, let me explain our sect's merit system. His explanation continues. The merit point system is adopted by many cultivation sects. By completing tasks for the sect, you are awarded merit points, which can be used to access the sect's repository, utilize the features of the Nether Crossing ship, or seek teachings from the Ghost Kings. Moreover, seniors are required to perform sect tasks at least once every 10 years. You can receive assignments for these tasks at the duty hall, and I recommend you visit there. After giving us a few more explanations, Yu Bian bids us farewell. Then, this concludes the orientation to Black Ghost Valley. I hope all the seniors become prominent figures of our sect. Farewell. After he finishes speaking, he turns into a stream of black smoke and flies towards the nether crossing ship. The 5 of us scatter, each exploring either our cave residences or various parts of the nether crossing ship, and I ask by YUL to find the place called the Duty Hall. The merit system. I recall that the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect had something similar. However, Jaeon Myung-hoon and I were exempted as the future of the sect. In the Azure Heaven Creation sect, merit points weren't a thing. It was purely based on strength. You could gain access to the sect's facilities by wrestling and winning against the librarian, or by defeating seniors in duels. At the Sea Dragon Palace, I emptied Co Wayol's vault, so I never felt any inconvenience in training, and I naturally needed nothing when living as a puppet under the Mad Lord. Thus, experiencing such a system is new to me. Upon arriving at the duty hall, the sounds of ghostly wails fill the air. Minor spirits are fluttering around muttering something, and upon listening closely, they are all discussing missions. Sensing the presence of the YUL within me, the minor spirits shiver and tremble as I enter the duty hall. However, they don't flee in complete panic as if they are somehow magically brainwashed. My lord, would you like to take on a mission? I want to see what missions are available. Understood. I will assist to make it easier for my lord to browse. Wriggle, wriggle. YUL raises his head above my shoulder and shouts loudly within the duty hall. Come here. At the commanding ghostly tone of a heavenly being stage ghost king, all the minor spirits that had been roaming around chanting tasks flock towards us. At this sight, all eyes of the Black Ghost Valley disciples choosing tasks in various parts of the duty hall turn towards us. What's with that guy? The ghostly cry just now, a heavenly being stage ghost king. He commands a heavenly being level ghost king. Could he be a Black Grand Elder? That can't be. He must be a Nuyen Soul Disciple. Nuyen Soul Disciples have to serve a Ghost King for about half a year before they earn their own ghosts or guardians. It's just a phase. It seems that the Ghost King he's serving is quite benevolent, taking the effort to gather spirits for his junior. Though they notice by YUL and don't say anything outright, I can see the intent behind their glances. Everyone seems to look down on me. It seems everyone here harbors at least a nascent soul stage ghost king within them. It's evident that, unlike me who had brought over a ghost king by begging at the shrine, they had nurtured their own ghost kings with strong bonds. Those must be ghost path companions, ghost persons. The primary souls that the disciples of Black Ghost Valley typically command are called ghost path companions or ghost persons. These are spirits that grow alongside the disciples, aiding their cultivation in the ghost path method. I observe them briefly behind the Black Devil mask before no longer paying them any mind and listening to the spirits instead. Deliver a letter to a heavenly being cultivator on Heavenly Human Island, 5 merit points. Go hunting on Jabu Island and collect demon cores, 15 merit points. Establish a Black Ghost Valley branch among the Heaven tribe. Exemption from mandatory tasks for 1,000 years, 60,000 merit points. I browse through the missions. The higher the difficulty of the mission, the greater the reward. The mission with the highest merit points involves going to one of the Heaven tribes, the Celestial Wing race, incorporating them, and establishing a branch of the Black Ghost Valley composed of them. It exempts the mandatory tasks every 10 years for 1,000 years and offers 60,000 merit points. In other words, it's a mission that requires at least 1,000 years of hardship. I have no interest in struggling with local forces in the territory of the Celestial Wing race, so I immediately lose interest and look at other missions. Meanwhile, a ghost mutters something that catches my attention. The mystical scaled fish commanding sect is looking for a cursed sorcerer to assist with a task, 400 merit points. Given the substantial merit points and it being an area of my expertise, I reach out to the spirit repeating that task. Co Lee is adapting well to Black Ghost Valley. Once he gets a bit more accustomed, I plan to use him to look for Kong Min-hee. Well then, maybe it's time I make a move too. Swoosh. I use the record of transcending cultivation and exhausting martial arts to slip out of Heavenly Cauldron Mountain unnoticed by the other grand cultivators. A few days later, I arrive at the entrance to the True Devil Realm. In the current Human-Devil Great War, the human forces are being pushed back by the True Devil Realm's grand cultivators. However, the humans are preparing a garbage plan known as the Realm Annihilation Heavenly Void Formation. A move intended to inflict maximum damage on the Devil Realm before retreating. I can't let that happen. The reason for preparing such a trashy plan like the Realm Annihilation Heavenly Void Formation is simple. They must think they have a way out. Even if they inflict tremendous damage on the True Devil Realm, They think it's fine as long as they can escape to the bright cold realm. There is only one way to deal with this. I'll make sure they can't return. I pull out Seo Whale's face from my storage scroll and cover my own with it. Then, I release the record of transcending cultivation and exhausting martial arts right in front of the entrance to the True Devil Realm. I'll close the entrance to the True Devil Realm. I won't close it completely. I plan to make it so that with enough force, they can reopen it from the other side. Closing the entrance to the True Devil Realm means they can't activate plans like the Realm Annihilation Heavenly Void Formation because there's no retreat. Moreover, the Black Dragon King Hyeonium would not be able to enter the True Devil Realm through this entrance to threaten Yun Sok, nor will Azure Tiger Saint be able to cross over. Furthermore, by causing trouble while wearing Seo Whale's face, I can instill profound hostility in the human race towards Seo Whale. Lastly, if news of Seo Whale's survival reaches Yu Ryan's ears, her anger towards me will also significantly decrease. It's a strategy that kills 5 birds with 1 stone. Take that, Seo Whale. Who goes there? The 4-axis stage cultivators guarding the entrance to the True Devil Realm ask warily as they suddenly notice me. Covering myself with the aura of an immortal beast, I disguise myself as if I am a member of the demon race. In this state, I mimic Seo Whale's calm and relaxed voice. My name is Seo Whale. Kugugugek. A white mist-like power along with demonic power envelops my hand, forming the shape of a dragon claw. I am the Grand Prince of the Sea Dragon race. The entrance to the True Devil Realm trembles as if it will shatter. Translator notes. I'm not really too sure what the Kui means in Ghost Immortal Kui Devilish Secrets. Kui can be referring to one of the 28 lunar mansions in Chinese astronomy, however, Kui is a character composed from the component da, meaning big. It's been used to describe being in tight spaces and interestingly, da kind of looks like a person spreading out their limbs. So, the Kui might be referring to the soul that's confined in the physical body becoming free by transforming into a ghost or something of that sort.